recently just got the upgraded restream thing, which means now I can stream with just like, you know, one upload stream rather than like the 4 I had before. I just have 2 because I have the main one and I have YouTube Shorts. So technically it might be a little bit more delayed, but in reality it's probably a little bit less delayed because previously, the past few days when my Wi-Fi being fucky, when I would stream to all the platforms at once, it would get delayed. But you know now, where this and it'll be another benefit. It'll be 1080p for the restream people. It was already 1080p for the people who were watching on YouTube and Twitch, because I streamed to those separately and not through Restream. And like 90% of my viewers are on YouTube and Twitch. So but you know, for all the Kick viewers out there and the Rumble viewers, there are a few Rumble viewers sometimes, occasionally. I don't know if they're real or not, but they're there. Rumble still pays me. Rumble still pays me for them, which is what that's what matters. Okay, I think we're good. I got my Celsius today. I think it's probably my mom's Celsius, really, but I colonized it. Okay, I think everything's good. I also messed with some of my Wi-Fi routers. Celsius sponsorship, true. But, you know, I think that, I don't know, I'll probably just have to stick with the upgraded restream thing. But, you know, whatever. I'm at work, entertain me, Twitch man. The stream just started. Also, it's going to be a boring stream today. You know what we're doing today? It's in the title. We're doing econ reading today, okay? I got the reaction content out of the way. And I was also just lazy, and I didn't react to everything I wanted to react to. So there's Piers Morgan videos that I will never watch. I'll donate 5 for no econ. I have not. My entire stream, the stream revolves around this. I don't have like a backup plan. I don't know like what else I'm gonna do. There's no backup plan. And my hair. I need a haircut. I need a non-bowl cut haircut. But I think we're good. There's going to be econ stream today. And guess what? Tomorrow we get the announcement from the Fed. We get the rate cut announcement. Everyone pray. 50 basis point cut. 50 basis point cut. Okay. Oh, also another benefit of me spending $50 a month on a restream is now I can stream to D-Live again, baby. Let's go D-Live. No one has, or a single person has ever watched on D-Live. Only one person has ever clicked on the D-Live stream. I got a permit to go film a Change Your Mind type podcast on a campus. Would you be down to film? Yeah. You'd have to drive me. You need a permit for that? What type of free speech? Free speech suppression. I know, right? Okay, Lebanon to Latvia. Oh, speak Lebanon. What a topical country placement. Country target. I guess it's technically starting point, but I'm doing it backwards because it's easier. Georgia, Turkey, Syria. Easy. New weekly challenge. Let's see if I can do this one. Bay of Bengal to the Black Sea by boat, naming major oceans, straits, and gulfs. I have no clue. I don't know where the Bay of Bengal is. I still don't know. Does the Black Sea connect to the ocean outside or through the Mediterranean? Do I have to go through the Mediterranean? I do. I don't know what sea is in between here. Southern Ocean? I didn't need the Southern Ocean? What type of fucking... Yo!
This wacky con, here's your monthly payment from Israel.
Thank you, Isaac, very much for the 200 bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, look. That's also topical. Jerome Powell up there. That's what he's going to do a few days from now, Isaac. He's going to give us he's going to give us the rate cuts. Would have been more of no econ. Valid. I don't know. Does the Pacific Ocean... Oh no, I messed up, guy. They didn't decide it for this. What caused the explosions? Battery explosions are planted in pagers? I don't think we know yet. Oh, I just needed the Indian Ocean? Oh, the Indian Ocean is way bigger than I thought it was. We don't know yet. I think Al Jazeera reported it being impossible that they were where they were just the battery explosions. But also, that's Al Jazeera.
Example, I'm in New Mexico right now. If I heard
Ryan Macbeth says he doesn't think it's explosives because they were planted explosives because they would have been detected if they went through an airport. But I don't even know how many functioning airports are even in Lebanon. How many airports in Lebanon? In the south of Lebanon, I guess, because they only control the south, right? This does not tell me. There's only one public airport. I guess the military didn't know about it, though, so they would probably still check. Actually, I don't know if they would, if the military would. If in the military airports they fucking scan people. They probably do. But Hezbollah doesn't even control Beirut, do they? Hezbollah control. Oh no, they do control Beirut. A little bit of it, at least. What a horrible map. Does Hezbollah control Beirut? What's up, Golden Snakey? I've been good. Welcome back, Golden Snakey. Result of agreement between Hezbollah and the Lebanese government. Hezbollah withdrew its forces from the streets of Beirut. Subsequently, Hezbollah increased control over the airport. Okay, so Hezbollah does control the airport. You're the only person I've on the internet so far who's not claimed to know what happened. Yeah, I don't know why anyone would claim to know what happened. We don't know shit. All we know is that pagers exploded. What's up, Malibu County? Welcome back.
hoofbeats
Yeah, Ryan Macbeth says he doesn't think it was pagers.
I would think it was a horse.
You think it was just a battery?
Not a zebra. Number one, explosives leave a residue. And of the over 2,000 or so devices that were supposedly effective, I guarantee you, someone carrying one of these pagers got on a plane. That meant those pagers had to go through an x-ray, and they might have gone through explosive detection. And if you put a pager with an explosive through an x-ray at the airport, it's going to alarm, and you're going to get searched, and then you're going to go, oh, I wonder who sold us these pagers. So I don't think there was a weapon embedded in the pager. Somehow Israel figured out how to make the pager a weapon. And since we've all seen videos where batteries catch fire, I don't think it is beyond the pale for someone to develop a software program that stressed the battery to the point where it caught fire or exploded. So think horses, not zebras, guys. And if you want to see what I'm doing, go to Aeromet.
But then there was this. I was linked. This is some guy saying what Al Jazeera said, so it's even less credible than just Al Jazeera itself. But he said Al Jazeera is saying that the pagers in the Israeli attack were indeed packed with explosives and were imported into Lebanese territory 5 months ago, and Axios said that the decision was made by Israel to detonate the pagers a week ago. I don't know why I trust people in my Discord that link me shit. I don't know. I don't want to show like any super graphic stuff, but ooh. Hamas was target of same type of attack, but it foiled years ago. Target? You mean target? That's what you meant. I mean that makes sense. Cambodia to the Sahichin Glacier. Okay, wait. I remember it borders Pakistan on one side. Does it border China as well? Hopefully? Yes, okay. And then just Laos. Wow, crazy. I don't think we really know exactly what happened yet.
Welcome to the News Hour. It was an unprecedented and shocking attack. All across Lebanon today, pagers used by members of the militant group Hezbollah exploded. Lebanon's health ministry says 2,700 people were injured.
Are you interested to visit
and 9
Southeast Asia at some point? I mean, I'm not planning on it at all. It would be interesting, but it's not at all on my list of plans.
Including a young girl.
Not really.
Hezbollah blamed Israel for the attack. Israel has not made any public statement.
It comes as tensions between Israel and Lebanon have been near boiling for almost a year, since just after the October 7th Hamas terror attacks on Israel. Days later, Hezbollah stepped up fire into northern Israel. The two sides have had near daily exchanges of artillery and rocket fire since forcing thousands to flee. Nick Schifrin is here with more. So Nick, walk us through your reporting and tell us more about what happened.
Jeff, experts I spoke to all day described this attack as audacious, never seen before anywhere, and an almost unbelievable scale. And you can really see that even from the videos that immediately come out. Lebanese Hezbollah members in markets going about their days. All of a sudden, the pagers they're wearing.
2,000 from a pager. Where are they from? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're more secure or something than just like regular cell phones, or I don't know. But people said it was confirmed explosives, and every article checked there. Some sort of export speculating it's likely to be explosive. Okay.
Bags exploded. Pagers in Syria exploded too, and that led to 2,700 wounded. As you said, hundreds
Without
of them
evidence.
Syrians. So the expectation tonight.
Yeah, I don't really know what the evidence is on either side at this point.
Is the total death toll and total wounded.
I don't think we know enough.
Will increase, Jeff. So what happened? Officially, we do not know. As you said, Hezbollah blamed Israel. I asked an Israeli official about that. The only response I got was an emoji of a shrugged shoulders. So that's what Israel is saying, nothing. The experts I speak to though, do believe that Israel conducted this attack, and they believe the most likely scenario is that the pagers were altered to include small explosives. And that means the supply chain of the pagers were compromised by some entity that wanted to do damage to Hezbollah. Experts also tell me that a few months ago, Hezbollah switched over from cell phones to pagers, thinking that there would be less surveillance by Israel. Obviously, that backfired.
Yeah,
Well,
okay. Yeah, less surveillance by Israel. Okay. Only Israel would do
Below
this?
is this
Maybe.
It's a big blow. 2,700, as you said, is a lot of people. Not aimed at the leadership, not even at the hardcore militants. Experts tell me it was actually aimed at the mid-level.
Well, obviously Israel was responsible for this attack because they're the only ones like fighting like Hezbollah like this. But this style of attack, Israel uses Geneva Convention as a checklist. What's this? I don't even. People keep saying this attack was a war crime. I don't think that's true. I don't understand how it would be. I don't think it would fail in. It seemingly would not fail in proportionality, considering we don't even know how many people are. I think 11 people are speculated to have died. two of which are civilians. That doesn't seem like it failed in proportionality. It is terrorism. How is it terrorism? But like, what was the alternative to this? Like airstrikes? Do you guys think airstrikes would kill less people? Like, what? This seems like it'd be like the most, like the way to minimize civilian casualty to least is like blowing up like small explosives on people who are members of Hezbollah. I don't think it would fail in proportionality. Obviously, airstriking is the more humane. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. I don't know. How many Hezbollah members did they get? I think of the, like, 11 confirmed killed, like, 9 of them Hezbollah is what I remember. I don't see why it definitely, I don't think it would fail in distinction because there would have to be an acting with purpose element of that. And I think it's pretty clear if you're targeting specifically pagers, then you're not purposely killing civilians. If you wanted to purposely kill civilians, you would not target pagers only used by Hezbollah. Says you got the device used in society, not only in frontline units, training centers, or was not used only in leadership centers. It wasn't. This is a page. Aren't the pagers really only used by Hezbollah? Wasn't this a supply chain compromise? Were any of these pagers even used by civilians? I don't know. Oh wait, also here's a question I don't know the answer to as well. And here goes, fuck YouTube censoring half my messages. Welcome to Twitch chat, Aries. I don't know the answer to this. So I know arguably there's conflicting jurisprudence around this. But I think it's generally considered if you're a member of an organized armed group, then you're liable for status-based targeting. Meaning that you can be killed in your sleep no matter what, basically. Like, members of Hamas are counted as, like, an organized armed group members, and they can be killed in their sleep, doesn't matter. Like, they're liable for status-based targeting because of their status as a member, right? I don't know, because Hezbollah also has just, like, a bureaucratic political wing, I don't know if that's the case. I heard reports that it went off in hospitals. I don't know how we would. I actually don't know how that would work in international law. Car crashes people at schools, offices. It was used in public places. Yeah, you can. Again, we should actually look up is Hezbollah organized armed group under IHL. I don't know if they're going to be useful. But like it doesn't really matter if they're in public. You can attack. To be clear, you can bomb a member of Hezbollah in public and kill civilians, and that's not a war crime. Like you could, in theory, they're subject to proportionality analysis is. The mobile network is not reliable and thus commonly used type of communication device. But these are pagers. No one in the fucking modern day is using pagers. The reason they're using pagers is it's because they thought there'd be less surveillance by Israel, right? Were any civilians actually using these pagers? Not like or buying these pagers? Wasn't it's used in Hezbollah outside combatants? Aren't pagers used in hospitals? I think pagers are used in hospitals, but my understanding is that they either, one possibility at least, is that they compromised the supply chain of these pagers that were sold to Hezbollah. So I don't know if any of those pagers also went to civilians. I don't know. If you could link me something showing they did, then maybe you could do some indiscriminate thing there. maybe they would fail there, but reading pages because Bazoolik said his phones could be tracked by Israel. Yeah, but I don't know. I think pagers are big in India. Thanks for the follow, Aries. Yep, thanks, dude. Welcome to Twitch. They don't censor you, but you do have to deal with ads. There might be ads on YouTube too that is not nearly as common, and they don't give me money. Well, actually, we were pretty close to being monetized on YouTube. I think I'm like 300 watch hours away, so that's cool. You ever seen one in real life? What, a pager? Pagers are before my time. Killed at least 9 people, including a young girl. At least 200 wounded. Israel declined to comment. I don't think these pagers were at all used by civilians, though. I think the death of, like, the girl was just from someone standing next to the person. I think, at least. I don't know. Near simultaneous explosions reported in southern Lebanon, where there's widespread panic. Colonists fight civilians like stopped using smartphones because Israel had technology and infrastructure devices. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a very yeah, it's definitely more humane than airstrikes, but there's a you'd have to make that, you'd have to somehow make a, fuck, I wish I remembered more of the international law. Shit, now I don't know, I forgot it. Usually there are 2 ways you can fail with an attack. You can fail in distinction or proportionality. I don't think there's any argument for this failing in distinction, because in order to fail in distinction, you have to be acting with the purpose, not just the knowledge or not recklessness, but with purpose to kill civilians. So your goal has to be to kill civilians and not accidentally killing civilians because you did an attack recklessly, or knowingly killing civilians because you anticipated that this civilian would be collateral damage in some type of strike. I don't think there's any argument for it failing in distinction. In proportionality, I don't know. I would guess not. Or proportionality includes indiscriminate attacks, basically, because indiscriminate just means it doesn't discriminate between military and civilian targets. Which has more to do with proportionality than it does with distinction, because again, with distinction, you have to be acting with purpose, not just recklessness. Indiscriminate attacks are basically recklessness. They're a dolus eventialis level of intent. Yeah. But I feel like at worst, this would be a dolus indirectus level intent. You're just acting with knowledge that some civilians would be harmed. Okay, it's gonna lag super hard. Clear that indiscriminate attacks if they are equated with any war crime to be equated with creating disproportionate collateral damage to civilians. Among other things, the following types of attacks are considered indiscriminate. B, any attack which may be expected to cause incidental loss to civilian life, injury to civilians, damage to civilian objects, or combination thereof, which would be excessive in retaliation to the concrete indirect military advantage anticipated. OG not international law again. Well, it's just because like people keep claiming that it's war crimes, and I don't think it is. You could maybe make an argument for it. But yeah, so the question would be, would this attack be expected to cause incidental loss of life to civilians or damage to civilian objects that are excessive to the direct military advantage? I don't really think you can make the case for that super strongly, considering it doesn't even seem like that many civilians died. It seems like they had a really good ratio of this one. So that will make iPhones with if Apple made iPhones with bombs to blow up American leadership, would that be fine? I don't know if it would. Well, if Apple did, Apple's a private company, so they're not subject to. They can't do that. There's no international law framework for what if a private company does something domestically. But I mean, would it be if another military did the same thing? If the Iranian military tried to make iPhones to blow up American leaders, I don't necessarily think that'd be a war crime. It would be. I would still say it's an unjustified action or whatever. We're gonna disagree on that much, but I don't think it would be a war crime. I think it would be lawful. I don't think it would. I think, yeah, they're probably lawful targets. Yeah, or I mean, maybe it would be a violation of use ad bellum, the cause for war, or the right to war. Iran probably, if you could argue, Iran doesn't have the right to war with us, but the conduct in war, the use ad bellum, or the use ad bello, is one of those two, would not be illegal. I think it's a war crime, but Israel's response and X are really worrying. Oh no, I think I just have his notes copied here. These aren't useful. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be legal analysis a legal analysis of it we can read in a week on from the LeBaire West Point. Let's say yeah, I'm sure there'll be something here soon. It was use ad bello and LOC obligations in the evolving nature of the conflict. Okay, use as bellum, I think it's right to war. Yeah, Article 51. Article 51 is the right to war thing. Although Article 51 arguably doesn't even apply. Because it's not two states fighting each other, really.
Guys, what one is your favorite?
And then use ad bello.
Jumbo sauce, Ben, and Nab. I forgot his name, the frog dude.
Use in bello?
Yeah.
Whatever the conduct in war. Use in bello. Right conduct in war. Okay. Yeah. So I don't think they're... 3 weeks ago, Israeli General Yitzhak Barak said Israel will collapse if they don't come into agreement with Hezbollah and Hamas. Now the Israelis confirmed their desire to be destroyed with this terrorist attack on Hezbollah. I mean, I just went over why I don't think it's necessarily an illegal attack or whatever, but like, I don't know. No, he probably doesn't really want to end the war or anything because he probably wants to fucking not be prosecuted for his shit. So.
Members of Hezbollah. It also means that it affected thousands of families in southern Beirut and southern Lebanon. That will put a lot more pressure on Hezbollah to respond. It's extremely embarrassing, in the words of one expert, a slap in the face to the leaders, demoralizing to supporters, raises real questions, of course, about the group's security. And depending on where these pagers are from, Iranian security as well. You know, Israel recently struck Fuad Shukr.
I mean, Lebanon has been attacking Israel since October 8th, right? So
that is Hezbollah's number 3 in southern Beirut. And so, again, that just leads to the idea, the feeling among Hezbollah right now that Israel can get anyone, anywhere.
Well, as we said, tensions are extremely high, and this follows political announcements by the Israeli government. Put that into context for us.
Yeah, the timing here is very interesting. At 5 in the morning, Israel time, Israel's security cabinet released a statement that added a goal to their official war aims in Gaza. Quote, returning the residents of the war securely to their homes, a reference to the 60,000 northern Israelis who've been internally displaced since the October 7th Hamas attack and October the 8th when Hezbollah opened fire. Now that came a few hours after Yoav Gallant, Israel's defense minister, declared that U.S.-led diplomatic efforts to try and de-escalate between Israel.
I said Lebanon government, not Hezbollah. Oh, okay. But
Israel and Hezbollah were dead.
Well, this was only, the attack was only directed at Hezbollah. It wasn't directed at the other Lebanon government, right?
Gallant said, quote, the only way left to return the residents to the north to their homes is via military action. Now, that was a readout of Gallant's meeting with U.S. diplomats that he was meeting.
Yeah, the new Trump shooter was not in a BlackRock ad. That was only the old one was. But the new one is a Ukrainian fucking recruiter dude.
Yesterday to try and de-escalate tension. Amos Hochstein, who's a special advisor to the president, and a senior advisor, senior administration official, told me that Hochstein's message was this. Hochstein cautioned them that the U.S. does not believe a broader
Thanks for the follow, Millian. Welcome to the stream.
In Lebanon achieves the goal of returning residents to their home in the north. It risks a much broader and protracted regional conflict. Hochstein made this clear to Israeli officials, and the U.S. remains committed to a diplomatic solution. That was yesterday, Jeff, in those meetings. Today, the fear of escalation is very high.
So based on your reporting, where might all of this lead?
So some of the experts, I believe, some of the experts I spoke to said that they believe that Israel is trying to message that Israel is serious about northern Israel, the residents who are no longer in their homes. Hezbollah is overreaching, and that this was a message to accept the diplomatic terms that Hochstein has been trying to get them to accept, which is essentially moving Hezbollah fighters about 6 miles away from the Lebanon-Israel border behind the Litani River. The hope in this analysis is that Hezbollah doesn't want war. It can't afford it politically in Lebanon. And also Iran doesn't want Hezbollah to go to war with Israel because Hezbollah is Iran's best deterrent. But Lebanese analysts and other experts I speak to, Jeff, say, no way. That this is so embarrassing to Hezbollah, it will cause an escalation. Hezbollah has to respond.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? Look,
much.
I've been warning people for ages now. Don't join Hezbollah. I've been telling this to people for ages, and they didn't listen. They didn't listen, and now they're paying the price. Now they're paying the price.
Well, you get an awesome pager, man.
Yeah, it's epic. And look, I don't know. It's a totally impressive, insane military operation.
It is really impressive.
But it is, yeah. But I don't.
Price now.
I don't want to risk war, and I don't want to help Trump get elected. So I don't know how good it was, but like morally, but
yeah.
Damn, it was.
Do you know?
It was.
I'm having disputes with my chat. Do we know at all if this pager was used by any civilians? I don't see any evidence of it being used by
not to my
civilians.
knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Not
It's just
to my knowledge.
civilians having close to it when it exploded.
Did Israel take responsibility?
No, I don't think they've said anything yet, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
But damn. Okay, I just wanted to warn you. Don't join Hezbollah. If you care about your balls, okay? Don't. But yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Did you...
I know the people coping about it on Twitter. It's like, there was this Nathan Robinson dipshit, and he's like... It proves Israel doesn't care about civilians because they didn't know if the people who exploded were near civilians. Like that's so insane.
Yeah, I know, it's
that's so
wild, yeah.
insane. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like saying, "Oh, you killed this terrorist." Well, what about his family? You don't care about civilians. It's like, look, what are you talking about? My God.
Yeah, I know. I'm having a
Yeah.
disputes with chat. I wish I should remember some of the international law stuff better, but I'm sure the Rivera West Point Institute will have an article about it by the end of the week.
Oh,
and
let's
I'll be able to...
Let's hope. That'd be so base. Because they do all this tech shit, right? They have like a bunch of they have a whole bunch of shit about like big data and warfare and whatever. It's like they'll do an article on this probably. they write so well, and you contrast that with like every insane. It's a genocide, ethnic cleansing, bajillion, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just it's such a night and day. I don't know. Yeah, my God. I don't know. I just wanted to warn you about not joining Hezbollah. I've been saying this. People were not listening. But yeah. Okay. Well.
Did you watch the hippy dippy debate with like it had Pisco, it had IRI, it had
No,
Andrew
I'll
Wilson.
watch it tomorrow. I wanted to watch it tomorrow. Today's late. Today's late.
Yeah, I don't think I watched it. I don't think anyone there knew how the Fed works.
Oh my God. My God.
Or
I mean,
how
ask them
deficit spending
what's the
works,
federal
which is
funds rate, and they'll be like, federal funds rate is when that's what they'll say. It's just
yeah.
like,
One thing I don't know.
I
I don't know
debated someone
I
today
don't
about
know.
like go ahead.
What do you think? Do you think quantitative easing is actually printing money?
No, there's a difference. I forgot the fucking nitty gritty of it. No, but it's not. It's not pretty. Oh, Money in Macro has a good video on it. I don't know if you watched it.
I haven't.
Money in Macro. Look up Money in Macro quantitative easing. It's a great video. The reason why I don't remember much about like that point of argument is because I just know that argument like that video was convincing, so I don't need to store in my brain the arguments because it's just readily available in that video. So
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think like Pisco was saying, lowering the interest rate. I think initially he said that does increase the money supply, just like intrinsically. When I don't think that's true. At least my understanding is that it's only going to do that.
lowering the money
borrowing.
supply.
He said that lowering the interest rate is going to increase the money supply, like intrinsically at first. When, at least my understanding is that it's going to
increases the
increase
velocity of
borrowing.
money. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
won't it but also probably increase borrowing, right? And that's probably gonna increase the money supply.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to crunch the math there with the ISLM and whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, but
You should check out the video, the Money Macro video. That's
yeah.
yeah. I mean, quantitative easing. I think some surprisingly that's often. I don't know how often that is mentioned, but I think it has pretty bad like inequality effects.
Yeah,
that's just something to keep in mind.
I haven't read a ton about it.
And it's
but,
not that efficient too. It's not that efficient as well. It's like a thing to pump into the economy. It's just whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Not the big. I'm not like a QE hater, but I'm not a QE stan either. That's my position. I don't know. Did Keynes say anything about this? Did Krugman say anything about this? So I can dogmatically copy that opinion. I don't know.
Well, Krugman, I'm sure, has said QE is ineffective.
Maybe.
I'm almost certain he has.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know.
Whatever he
That's
said.
what I say. Either way, I'm gonna go to sleep. I just wanted to comment on the Hezbollah thing because it's funny. God,
All right,
everyone
thanks.
coping about this is evil. But okay. Yeah, well, bye-bye. Have fun.
Bye. Thanks. Yep.
Bye.
I don't remember exactly what but I think Pisco was saying, lowering the interest rate is going to automatically increase the money supply when like really it'll by proxy increase the money supply usually because borrowing is going to increase and that added the loans are going to increase the money supply because banks create credit when they give out loans in theory potentially. Who knows? We'll read credit creation theory shit at some point versus fractional reserve theory shit. We'll see. We'll have to pick a side on that.
Money printing, the most taboo subject in economics. But if we are to believe much of the media, this is what has been the new normal. After all, it has been going on for a long time now in America, Europe, and Japan. These central bankers just changed the name to quantitative easing, or QE for short. No wonder so many YouTubers are predicting the demise of the dollar, the return of hyperinflation, and basically the end of the world. Even though central bankers have been doing this for years now, and we really haven't seen a lot of inflation. Hi, I'm Yuri, and in this video I will not only refute the simplistic view that QE is money printing, I will also tell you exactly how quantitative easing is different from money printing. So keep watching this video.
I don't think I have any good place to put this, and also I'm noticing I have 2 free trade things. Now let's make a new one. QE. Okay, I don't think I need this one.
Sorry. I just have to scold you. Why do you not organize your Notion? Why do you create a page for topics and instead of like having, a meta topic? Like I have like
I mean, I do that for
economics
some
and
things.
science and whatnot.
I mean, you can see I
Okay.
have like, I do that for some
But you
things.
really should because it's so much more efficient that way. Because like then if I want to talk about like policy, and then like I have my policy page, and then housing, healthcare, taxes, blah blah blah, blah, and then I can pick the topics. But they're so much more organized. I don't know. You do you. You do you.
Not very good
I just
organizer.
don't see scold you. All right. Yuri is great. The guy from the video. So watch it. Bye bye.
Okay, I don't need this free trade one. How do I delete this free trade? Move to trash. QE. Okay. I'm probably just going to write down a few bullet points.
Because by the end of it, you will be reassured that the world is not going to end in a blaze of hyperinflation.
That's awesome, Aries.
Okay. To be able to pinpoint exactly how quantitative easing and money printing are different, we'll need to discuss exactly what quantitative easing is. QE basically refers to a policy where the central bank starts buying financial assets on a large scale from the private sector. These assets are typically government bonds and sometimes bonds from big corporations that are very unlikely to go out of business. But in this balance sheet example, you can see that what differentiates QE from a normal transaction is that large-scale asset purchases by the central bank are financed by newly created money. In this case,
Financed by money.
Central bank reserves.
Yeah.
Also, wait, maybe I'm wrong, but he's talking about it like not being money printing. But did Tisco talk about like money printing or money supply? Like because there's like hard money and like the money supply.
Well, Rob Noor
because remember-
was what Rob in response. Rob Noor was saying, well, the interest rate is not going to increase the money supply at all, but a decision to print money is made separately from that. I think he was referring to quantitative easing, but I don't know. He didn't really specify.
I mean, if you print more money. Oh, okay. I mean, I just know this video was addressing like QE being money printing, but I don't know about like money supply broadly. I mean, you can just maybe look it up. I don't know, but the video still good. I don't know. I watched it like 2 years ago or whenever it came out.
Yeah,
But yeah,
3
bye-bye.
years ago. Yeah.
Reveal this time because I'm gonna go to sleep. Bye bye.
Damn.
Wait, why can I not leave? Why does it not let me? What the fuck? I'll
You're
just
stuck.
join another
Get fucked.
VC somewhere else. Yeah, bye bye.
Where reserves are basically digital accounts that private banks have at the central bank and in use to pay each other. Here we stumble across the first difference between QE and money printing. With QE, new central bank reserves are created, whereas with traditional money printing, new notes and coins are created. This is important because notes and coins end up in the hands of the consumer, whereas reserves end up in the hand of financial institutions. And this is again important because where money ends up first is likely where you will see the biggest impact on prices. This explains why we have seen
it inflates asset prices. Yep.
Massively increased asset prices in countries where there has been QE, but not so much inflation. But this is not where money ends up first, is less new notes and coins are. With QE, new central bank reserves are created.
QE creates new central bank reserves.
Whereas with traditional money printing, new notes and coins are created. This is important because notes and coins end up in the hands of the consumer, whereas reserves I
would say the money is given to financial institutions. QE inflates asset prices more than other prices.
end up in the hand of financial institutions. And this is again important because where money ends up first is likely where you will see the biggest impact on prices. This explains why we have seen massively increased asset prices in countries where there has been QE, but not so much inflation. But this is not the whole story of QE. While the central bank creates reserves, it also takes something out of the economy, namely bonds. This is important because bonds are actually used as money in large parts of the financial sector. And this brings us to the second key difference between QE and money printing. With money printing, the government spends more money into the economy, but with QE, this doesn't have to be the case. If the government doesn't simultaneously increase its spending, the central bank merely inserts one money instrument while taking out another. To make this point more clearly, check out my visualization of the monetary system, which I covered in depth in another video. If you
QE was Zimbabwe, money printing and infinite cantilever.
simultaneously increase its spending, the central bank merely inserts one money instrument while taking out another. To make this point more clearly, check out my visualization of the monetary system, which I covered in depth in another video. If you visualize the monetary system, it consists of a monetary core of central bank money, first notes and coins, and on top of that bank reserves. Then there's a layer of money created by private banks. And then finally, there is a layer that consists of financial instruments, often used as money, but only used in some parts of the economy. I call this layer the financial crust. So when QE happens, reserves are added to the economy, while at the same time, bonds in the financial crust are taken out of the economy. But as you can see, the effective money supply remains the same. This backs
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
taking out another. To make this point more clearly, check out my visualization difference between QE and money printing. With money printing, the government spends more money into the economy, but with QE, this doesn't have to be the case. If the government doesn't simultaneously increase its spending, the central bank merely
doesn't increase spending. QE. Shifts assets between reserves and financial instruments. The financial crust.
insert money, first notes and coins, and on top of that bank reserves. Then there's a layer of money created by private banks. And then finally, there is a layer that consists of financial instruments, often used as money, but only used in some parts of the economy. I call this layer the financial crust. So when QE happens, reserves are added to the economy, while at the same time, bonds in the financial crust are taken out of the economy. But as you can see, the effective money supply remains
It's not an even picture at all, but whatever.
the same. This begs the question, if the effective money supply is not changed, then why bother with quantitative easing at all? Well, first, it is important to realize that reserves are more liquid than bonds and can be directly exchanged for cash with the central bank. So when there's a crisis,
So effective money supply isn't changed, but liquidity is increased.
reserves are super safe, while government bonds cannot always be relied upon for payment. Second, the interest rate on reserves is typically lower than the interest rate on government bonds. So what's happening here is that government bonds are getting scarcer in the monetary financial system. And what happens to things that are getting scarcer? Well,
Price of bonds. I wrote is changed. What? Oh. Oops. Thanks, sample.
their price goes up, of course. And confusingly with bonds, if their price goes up, this means that their interest rate goes down. And since central bankers already control interest rates on short-term debt and setting the interest rate on reserves, they can now also control interest rates on longer-term government bonds through quantitative easing. So perhaps a more relevant comparison for the media, instead of calling QE money printing, they should call it instead long-term interest rate management. But this is of course not a very catchy name, and so I doubt they will ever do it. Also, there's a third effect that central banks are banking on, and that is that by increasing the quantity of available reserves, private banks can more easily expand their lending and therefore the quantity of private bank money. This, however, is There's a third effect that central banks are banking on, and that is that by increasing the quantity of available reserves, private banks can more.
So this is the real reason that MMT doesn't like quantitative easing, because they don't think that banks lend out reserves.
More easily expand their lending and therefore the quantity of private bank money. This, however, is not guaranteed to happen since bank lending also depends on people being willing to borrow. But more on that in my video on bank money creation linked in the top right corner of the screen. And finally, by performing QE, central bankers have made government borrowing cheaper by lowering interest rates. This enables governments to spend more, although governments don't always use this opportunity. If the central bank and government work in tandem though, then QE becomes more like money printing because money is really added to the economy and nothing is extracted from it. Okay, so that was a crash course on quantitative easing. It's about...
Crazy. Where's that? Where's the Warren Melzer video?
On in a violent way, in a different way than it has in the past, and that could lead to Israel doing the same and a cycle of escalation, the very cycle the U.S. is trying to avoid.
Nick Schifrin, thank you so much for walking us through all of this. We appreciate it.
Crazy. I'm trying to think what. God, I'm trying to remember back to which articles are which in the Geneva Conventions, but I don't remember. I think Article 48 is proportionality, and Article 50 is distinction, or something like that. Article 51. Okay, Article 51 is proportionality. Article 48 is duty to warn. Damn. Additional Protocol 1 requires forces to take constant care for the protection of civilians regardless of their nationality. Article 13 refers to the whole conflict. Wait, did I just delete that? Distinction. The failure of an adversary to distinguish between military and civilian objects does not result in the increased burden for the attacker to discriminate in conducting attacks against the enemy. This is because no party should be able to gain a military advantage by violating IHL, so as to not encourage violations. Commanders must take feasible precautions to verify that individuals or objects being attacked are military in nature, but this does not require that they do everything possible. The fact that Hamas operatives operate out of civilian structures mitigates the assumptions that civilian structures are civilian. Okay, well. So Israel just has to meet a feasible precautions standard for blowing up a bunch of pagers. Oh, I was going to ask Perplexity. Is Hezbollah considered an organized armed group under IHL? Or is it not international humanitarian law here? Or is it just international law? I don't know. I'm not going to do IHL. Differing views of Hezbollah classification under IHL. Generally considered to be an organized armed group under IHL rather than a state armed force. As an organized armed group, Hezbollah is bound to conduct hostilities in compliance with customary international laws and Common Article 3 of the Geneva Conventions. Hezbollah is described as an organized political Islamist group based in Lebanon with a military and civilian arm. The mixed nature of both a political and militant group complicates classification. There's debate over whether the conflict between Hezbollah should be considered as international or non-international, which is not relevant for a lot of things because a lot of these customary international law things that people claim they're violating apply whether the conflict is international or non-international. As a OAG, Hezbollah members do not have combatant immunity or prisoner of war status if captured. Yeah. However, they must still be treated humanely. What the fuck is going on? Ooh. Classification Hezbollah. Okay. Well, the answer is there's no clear answer, but I would guess that Hezbollah, at least the military wing of it, is going to fall. It's going to be classified as an organized armed group, which kind of means you're fucked if you're a member of it. It means you're liable for status-based targeting, and and Israel can do whatever they want, not whatever they want, but they can target you wherever you are, no matter what, basically. Status-based targeting. Okay. We're going to watch this one thing on energy. Just the facts about U.S. energy use, production, and environmental impact. Curious to see what this is.
I'm Steve Ballmer. I spent 34 years growing Microsoft, 10 years owning the LA Clippers basketball team. I love computers, data, and facts. That's why I started USA Facts, to help understand what our government is up to and what's going on in America. I'll share with you the facts and data, all from our government. You make up your own mind. In this episode of Just the Facts, energy and the environment. But first, a quick disclaimer. As I talk, I do a lot of rounding of numbers, but the data you see on screen will be more exact. So now, let's roll. Right now, you're using energy to watch this episode. And we used energy to make America consumes a lot of energy. With only 4% of the world's population, we account for about 16% of global energy use. We use more energy than any other country except for China, but it spreads that energy use across a population 4 times larger than ours. The federal government and many state governments are passing laws and regulations designed to reduce our use of fossil fuels and increase renewable energy production. So what can we learn from the data? Let's start with energy consumption. In 2023, America consumed 93.6 quadrillion British thermal units, or BTUs, of energy. A quadrillion is a huge number. It's a 1 followed by 15 zeros.
Why the fuck are we using
British
units?
It's a million
Fuck
billion.
that shit. Rename that shit.
A
Make
BTU
our own new
measures the
worse standard of measurement like we do with everything
heat
else. What the
content
hell?
of various fuel sources. A single BTU is about equal to the energy released by burning a single match. There's a BTU. Now let's look at the energy the average American uses in our homes each year, about 63 million BTUs per person. We use about half of this energy for heating and air conditioning. Another quarter is for lighting, refrigeration, and hot water.
The
rest is for powering major appliances, like washers, dryers, televisions, and stoves, as well as consumer
automatic
electronics,
semen
like phones and computers. As for American electric bills, the retail price of electricity and average residential electric bills have stayed about the same over the last decade when adjusted for inflation. For many people I encounter, the energy price they care about most is the price of gasoline.
Hold on.
Electricity and average residential electric bills have stayed about the same over the last decade when adjusted for inflation.
Why didn't he doesn't show a graph for this shit? He doesn't know a citation down below. I want like a graph of that because that's interesting. Adjusted for inflation, energy prices, U.S. households.
For many people I encounter, the energy price they care about most is the price of
Oh, it's like there's obviously a spike, but
gasoline, which cost $3.52 a gallon on average in 2023. For perspective, since 1950, the lowest Americans ever paid for gas on an inflation-adjusted basis was $1.98 in 1998. The highest was $4.88 in 2012. Remember, it's an average, so in some places it's more, some it's less, and all those prices include gas tax. Overall, the proportion of total consumer spending spent on energy is lower today than in the past.
portion of income spent on energy is lower in the past. I want a graph on that. Show a graph.
30 years ago, total energy costs accounted for 8% of all consumers.
It's not a graph. I want a what's this type of graph called? I don't remember. I want this, the proportion
consumer spending. That's recently dropped.
It's 8.2% in 1983, but
to around 4.2%. And frankly, that surprised me. I did think it would be higher.
4.2%.
Now let's look at how different sectors of our economy use energy. Our electric power sector, that is the utilities and companies that make electricity, is the biggest energy hog. It accounts for 34% of all energy use. But here's a fact that surprised me. More than half of the energy consumed is lost in the process of getting that electricity to the consumer. The remaining energy is used in three primary ways: residential, commercial, and the industrial sector. The other big energy consumer in our economy is transportation. Transportation accounts for 30% of all energy consumption, almost 90% of which comes from gas and diesel fuels burned by vehicles on the road. The U.S. has more than 280 million registered vehicles. Less than 1% of these are electric vehicles and hybrids, although they comprise over 16% of all light-duty vehicle sales in the U.S. in 2023. The industrial sector, which includes manufacturing, construction, and agriculture, among others, is the next biggest energy consumer at 28%. 75% of this energy comes from petroleum products and natural gas, and 13% from electricity. Data centers and artificial intelligence may increase demand from this sector. That leaves residential, our homes, at 12%. And the commercial sector, which includes places like office buildings, retail stores, and that all accounts for about 10% of energy use. Let's close our look at consumption by breaking down the kinds of energy we use. Fossil fuels, like oil, coal, and natural gas, still provide most of America's energy needs. 20 years ago, fossil fuels accounted for 88% of our energy consumption. In 2023, it was 82%, with nuclear power accounting for 9%, and renewable energy, which includes solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal,
God damn it, I thought we were better than that.
biomass like ethanol, accounted for 9%. The most significant shift in our energy mix is the steep drop in coal from 37% of America's energy use in 1950 to only 9% in 2023. Now let's talk about energy production. Big picture, America's production of
God damn, you look retarded. Welcome to the stream, G.
Oil, natural gas, and renewables is growing, with natural gas growing most of all. In 1950, natural gas was about 18% of total U.S. energy production. In 2023, it was about 38%. Nuclear production has remained relatively flat since about 2001.
So painful to look at. Ah,
Renewables are growing fast, with wind production more than doubling over the last decade, and solar growing by a
2%
factor
for
of
real.
7. But they remain a small part of our overall energy mix, with wind accounting for just 1% and solar just 1%. As for oil, U.S. domestic crude oil production has more than doubled since 2000. In 2023, we produced nearly 22 million barrels daily, or around 22% of the global world supply. We exported an average of 4.1 million barrels daily, but we also imported nearly 6.5 million barrels a day. Wait a second. Why are we importing energy and exporting energy at the same time? I'm glad you asked. Depending on where the oil and gas is found in the U.S., it may or may not be easily transported, refined, or processed for U.S. consumers. And not all oil is alike. Sometimes it can make sense to ship oil or natural gas abroad while importing other forms of oil and gas for use in the U.S. market. The U.S. is the world's #1 producer of oil and the #1 producer of gas. In 2020, for the first time on record, the U.S. began a streak of being a net exporter of petroleum, and we have been a net exporter of natural gas since 2017. Through the 2021...
Really? I didn't know that. We have a net exporter of... You so ugly your mom had to tie a pork chop around your neck to get the dog to play with you. Nice one,
Inflation
dude.
Reduction Act.
Well, guess what? Yo mama is so stupid, she thought Twitter was social media.
The U.S. government now offers an array of tax credits to incentivize the production of
Yo mama is so stupid, if she was an Oreo, Xbox Live. Have you guys seen that video? Yo mama, Xbox Live. Basically, there was like a joke. Was the Keystone XL pipeline ever in use? No, it was never built. Or at least one of them wasn't built. I honestly don't. I'll research it later. There was like this joke where got him. People would edit Yo Mama clips to make the punchline Xbox Live every time. I'm getting an ad. Damn. And for whatever reason, when Yo Mama, with the official Yo Mama channel hopped on the trend, what they did is they would take a random setup and like a random middle thing and always make the end of it Xbox Live. I don't know why they didn't just take the regular setups and switch it out for Xbox Live. I think it's this.
She's the reason
Or not.
it turned into stupid. If she was an Oreo, yo mama's so hot. If she was an Oreo, she would be Xbox Live.
Hey Zach,
I hit it.
Yeah.
Yo Mama, so hot. If she was an Oreo, Xbox
the other one.
Live.
Now the other one's too close to the ground.
Xbox
They
Live.
You got
Zach, you gotta
fucking
shoot them,
fucked,
man.
dude.
Yo mama's some mixed race.
Zach, we gotta shoot them, man.
I have two health.
Oh my god.
What? My mama's so mixed race.
What an incredible one, man.
I didn't even finish it. You finish it. What's the punchline?
Well,
Xbox
there was a
Live.
really gigantic. There was a really gigantic
What?
thing of thunder right there. So
Yo
let that
Mama's
finish
so
it.
mixed race. One direction
Xbox
went
Live.
the other direction.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Okay, I just wanted to fucking gape you anyway.
Yeah.
Chad, don't clip that. Yo, mama's so racially impure.
renewable energies, and the adoption of more electric vehicles. And many states have passed rules requiring their utilities to produce more electricity from renewable sources. Shifting gears, let's talk about the environment. Let's start with good news. Air pollution levels across the United States are improving. In the last 5 years, major U.S. cities have had 2/3 fewer.
Damn, no way. They watched the Unlearning Economics video.
Unhealthy air quality
all the way back in 2000
days than we did 2 decades ago. Fantastic. What about water? Well, you may have read news stories about drought conditions in certain parts of the U.S., but nationally at least, the previous 50 years have generally been wetter than average. In the last century, the worst periods of drought in the U.S. were the 1930s and 1950s. The U.S. is seeing more natural disasters that cost over $1 billion of damage, even after adjusting for inflation. There have been 39 such disasters between 2023 and 2024, which is more than there were from 1980 to 1990 in total. Data shows that the planet is experiencing higher temperatures. The Earth's average land and ocean surface temperature in 2023 set a record at 2.12 degrees Fahrenheit, above the average of the last 100 years. Global sea levels have risen 8 to 9 inches since 1880. The rate in the previous 3 decades is nearly double that of the last century.
Don't you know that Jordan Peterson said that we don't have accurate measurements?
In 2022, worldwide, there were 523 particles of CO2 and equivalents from other gases like methane per 1 million air particles. That number was only 388 in 1979, increased to 461 in 2004, and then 478 in 2010. Greenhouse gases are a global phenomenon. America's annual greenhouse gas emissions increased throughout the 90s, but peaked in 2007, and actually had declined by 16% by 2022 to about 6.3 million metric tons, which is the equivalent of nearly 20 Empire State Buildings. Historically, the United States has emitted more greenhouse gases per person than any other country. These gases can stay in the atmosphere from anywhere from
we're going down though.
years to
Peaked
thousands
in high school?
of years. But even as our emissions decline,
Who, me? What?
others are increasing. Today, China is the world's top source of greenhouse gases, emitting more than twice as much as the U.S. did. About 73% of America's greenhouse gases result from our burning fossil fuels for energy, with the transportation sector being the most significant source of these emissions.
Not the chart, bro.
Fossil fuels are increasing gases per person than any other
You mean it?
country. These gases can stay in the atmosphere from anywhere, as did. About 73% of America's greenhouse gases result from our burning fossil fuels for energy, with the transportation sector being the most significant source of these emissions. Transportation is responsible for 28% of total greenhouse gas emissions,
Don't worry, you
followed
ain't
by
gonna find
electricity
it.
generation at 25%, and the industrial sector at 23%. The remainder came from residential use, commercial use, and agricultural emissions. About 87% of these gases end up in our atmosphere. The other 13% is sequestered or sucked back into the land by forests, plants, oceans, and various land management practices. Some, including me, say act aggressively now on greenhouse gases. Others say we have time to let technologies resolve these issues. Still others reject that there's any problem at all. Global forces will also impact the picture. For example, Russia invading Ukraine, unrest in Venezuela reduced the amount of oil that the U.S. imported from both countries. Ultimately, it's up to you to learn the facts, reflect on varying opinions from scientists and economists about what might happen, and make up your own mind. What risk we might take for the future with our kids and grandkids and others who will come, versus the painful issues of today and the potential in rising energy prices. This is just the facts from usafacts.org. We share the government data. You decide what you believe.
Crazy. Don't you know the government data is clearly fake? Here, I probably should. I don't know why I made one for the documents case and not the other cases. Oh, really, Notion? Are you not going to let me? Well, if I make an energy page, should I make it? I don't know if I should make it in. I feel like I'll make it in this one. Then. See if I can find graphs. Portion of income spent on energy US at like 2017 to 2024. Oh hell yeah. This is 2021. Right when Biden took office. This is spending as a percent of GDP. This is only in Nebraska. This is from Nebraska.gov. Nebraskans spent, yeah, okay, yeah, so. Find a site with data for the portion of income. There isn't a single comprehensive source that there. Okay, fire. Department of Low Income Affordability Tool provides data and energy per will define a percentage gross household income. This is what I want. Thanks. Well, it doesn't give a single national figure that offers the following insights. Oh, so why does it break it down for low income? Who gives a... I want aggregates. I don't really care about just low income people. I don't care about low income people at all. Exclude... I want to know for only the top 1% of Americans. Okay, well, where's the actual data? The national average energy burden for low-income households was defined as 0 to 80% of area median income is 6%. 3 times higher for non-low-income households. Estimated 2% energy burden. Some areas, depending on location, income, energy burden can be as higher than 30. Where the fuck are people spending 30% of their income on energy? Maybe if you live in literally fucking bumfuck nowhere, Alaska. But then I guess, I don't know, maybe rent will be really cheap then. So you can, so it might even out. You might only spend 1% of your income on rent, but 30% on fucking energy. This only goes up to 2020. I want to see basically if there's data on how much the percent energy burden, percent income was under Trump and then under Biden. But oh, here we go. This is by state. Why does it... Okay, if I zoom out. No data. Okay, fire. Does it not have data for Alaska at all? Oh, no, it does. So how do I... put it? I don't know if I want to include Puerto Rico. Can I just do national average? Fuck. Well, where did he get this data from? U.S. residential electricity prices, inflation adjusted and nominal prices from the EIA. Let me turn the music back on. Oh, also, I guess I can have this so you guys can see Subway Surfers too. EIA. U.S. Residential electricity prices. Inflation adjusted and nominal price. Prices with change. Prices with change in prices and inflation rates. Here we go. So it's basically flat. It actually fell a little. It went up a little bit in 2022, then fell a little in 2023. Annual average monthly cost for U.S. residents. Growth rate was slower than inflation, which was 4.1%. Here's the exact chart. Oh, you know, I guess the average is going to be, because obviously energy sees deflation sometimes. That's why we exclude it from like core CPI, right? That doesn't count food or energy because those are more volatile. Okay, so we'll have like toggle heading 3, and we'll have like energy cost. Don't really need that. And then we'll do like toggle heading 3 Keystone Pipeline. I don't know anything about it, so. And I'll probably also make one. God damn it. Yeah, I think I actually might have. I have this, but it's just for like a video I want to make, not like a notes page. So we'll do Trump and inflation. And then I guess we'll just do Trump econ policy. For the Trump and inflation, don't need this. I need to make a page for that. We'll add this. And then just delete those. And then we'll add this to the Trump econ policy. Tax cuts. Then we probably need to make another page. Trump and democracy. One, Trump isn't on the side of globalists. Two, reread one. Good one, Mason Wells. Globalism is pretty based, so. Those were just notes on that. We'll add these to Trump econ policy as well. God, I keep clicking there so I can like try to separate these. Doesn't work. Doesn't work ever. These should go here. And then we already have a page for immigration, which really I guess I should put there. Bot. What? Because I said globalism is based. I don't know if Sample's still watching. He told me about a book on free trade that I think we are going to read some of because I think it'd be interesting. Mason, do you know what comparative advantage is? This can go in tax cuts. So can that. So can these. Maybe I should have one for tax cuts, or the effects of its tax cuts, and then also have one for his new proposed budget, and maybe a separate one for Project 2025 proposed yet. Okay, so I don't think I need this. This I can just have up here. That is in there. That is there. Here, let me just make one for the debt. Also, stream is not lagging at all, which is really good. Of course, Restream's gonna have it be a little bit more delayed, but looks like the trade-off is probably worth it. Not considering the money I spent. Here's the debunking to this graph, which I have not read yet. I have not read all of. I've skimmed through it. Some of the things seem fair, and some of the things don't really seem that fair. What's up, Centarius? How's your day going? Pretty good so far. I woke up at like 5 p.m. Yeah. And I edited a video. And then I started streaming. That's about all I've done. Other than not much. Other than I think I don't know, played fucking GTA for a little bit, but only one video. Okay. I didn't remember if I edited 2 videos or not. Can you put this in your tabs? Oh, probably not. Since it's coming from you, I'm gonna guess not.
Today I'm going to talk about
Yeah, no. Okay. Oh wait, this is in the immigration thing. Hold on. No, that needs to be there. Gonna ban you again. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm not anti-philosophy. It's just that like you come into my stream and you intentionally just troll me with unrelated stuff, and you just degrade the quality of chat, and you just degrade the quality of the stream. So like, I'm just gonna ban you. It's not, you have admitted that it is trolling before. Unless you're going back. If it's not trolling, that's arguably worse, honestly, but so I guess we'll make a page foreign policy. Sometimes, but not usually. Okay. I put that there, right? Yep. Don't need that.
And the final question.
This is just him looking insane, so we'll keep that there. I guess we'll make a page on Project 2025. It's just going to be like a do we have to worry about it thing. What's this? Oh, it's the letter itself. So we'll put these two in foreign policy, if Notion would let me select them. my god,
I work-
why? Hello? There we go. I think these are about Project 2025. Nope. These are just two insane clips. If I subbed? No. I guess I'll make a page. I turned 17 yesterday. Oh, happy late birthday. Good for you. The big lie. I turn 19 soon. I don't know if I need these. Oh my god. God fucking. This stuff doesn't even matter anymore. We'll just. Actually, well, this probably needs to be up here as well. Because people yell about inflation so much. And now, super large collection of links that I'm not sorted through at all. So we have that. Both of these can go up here. Don't know why that's there. Actually, wait, this is good reaction content. Given all your Israel discussion recently, I've not really done the Israel stuff that recently, but will you go to any synagogues for the high holidays? No. The pager tasks, can you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10? Scale of 1 to 10 based on what, Tron? Based on like coolness? Based on like how cool is it that they were able to do it? Like a solid 8. Based on like moral justness? Maybe how awesome? Yeah, awesome. I would say like maybe like an 8. Like it's literally like out of a fucking movie scene. Based on like moral justness, maybe like a 6. Based on like strategy. Strategy as in, is it best for Israel to go to war with Hezbollah? maybe like a 3. Wasn't the attack on Hezbollah? Yeah. What did I... Oh, for foreign policy. Forgot about these charts. Oh, wait, I need that last one though. For a foreign policy. Don't know where to put this one. If you study the history, peace for Israel only come. If you study the history, peace for Israel only come from winter war. Kind of, yeah. They've only been able to get concessions, but well, I mean, but they haven't. They've been to war with Hezbollah before, and they're not really. They have a fragile. They had a fragile peace with Hezbollah prior to October 7th, and then after October 7th, they're not like at full scale war yet, but you know.
What are your expectations for the next?
Okay, wait.
What are your expectations for the next?
Not to say that correct today, but it's their pattern, sure. I guess we'll put this one in Trump and democracy. Can I not mention? This is why he flipped on a TikTok ban, right? I don't really know where to put this one. I'll leave some uncategorized ones down here. Oh, that's I know this already. 2 Pisco tweets. Don't know where to put these. Oh my god, knows you. Why? Why? Just let me. Well, here, let me write down like what they are. Trump's contact. Oh, this is a documents case, isn't it? Okay, so. Documents case. Documents case versus Hillary. Emails.
Trump said, these are secret, I'm not supposed to
This is, I don't know. I'll just put this here. It's a funny video. I'll just put this somewhere in here. Alright, well. There's that. Oh, by the way. Dude, I have, up on soda. My grandparents wanna like get lunch with me tomorrow, and I'm gonna have to explain to them. I have to be home by 2 because that's when I have to stream because the Federal Reserve makes its interest rate decision at 2 p.m. or its press conference at 2 p.m. I think technically they announce before what the cut is, but is that a completely unreasonable view of me? I don't know. When is I'm trying to philosophy is because you don't seem to have good it's just dumb. It's just dumb. You just degrade the quality of the stream every single time. So of course I'm just gonna fucking ban you, dude. Okay, we'll read this one article before we get into actual more dense reading. How's it dumb? I didn't even say it was dumb. Did I say it was dumb? I don't know. I just said you degrade the quality of the stream. It's just annoying. It's just like not good. Witnesses said the driver showed no signs of slowing down. On June 3rd, Nicole Lithuanian and her 6-year-old daughter were stopped at a red light in Grand Forks, North Dakota when they were struck from behind by Travis Bell. Such crashes are not uncommon. Around 10,000 rear-end collisions occur in America every day. What made this one noteworthy was that the vehicles involved were so unevenly matched. Miss Luthane was driving a Ford Focus, a compact car weighing about 3,000 pounds, whereas Mr. Bell was in a 7,000-pound compact car, 7,000-pound Ram 3500 heavy-duty pickup. Alas, the disparity proved deadly. Although Mr. Bell was not harmed, Ms. Luthane, I don't know how to pronounce her name, suffered serious injuries. Court documents later show that Mr. Bell had been drinking. Her daughter, Katrina, was airlifted to a hospital nearby where she died 2 days later. The crash in Grand Forks helps illustrate a sad truth about America's roads. For all the safety features available in cars today to help them avoid crashes, the laws of physics are cruel. When two vehicles collide, it is usually the heavier one that prevails. This advantage has changed little over time. 30 years ago, when a passenger car crashed with a pickup truck or a sports utility vehicle, SUV, the driver of the car was roughly 4 times more likely to die. Today, driver dies around 3 times as often. Critics say this is too high a price to pay for roomier interiors and more powerful engines. Car makers insist that they are giving consumers what they want. Analysis by the Economist shows that weight remains a critical factor in car crashes in America. Reining in the heaviest vehicles would save lives. You guys seen the pictures of like American cars in Australia? I know there's a bunch of Australians complaining because people buy American cars in Australia and they are absolutely ginormous compared to the Australian cars. There are 2 important days in your entire life: the day you're born and the day you die. That's it. The rest is all bullshit. True. Welcome to the stream. Your name is gibberish. So real, brother. But a bunch of Australians are mad. Mismatches between big and small cars on Americans' roads are not new. In the 1960s, the 1,400-pound Mini Cooper shared the road with 5,000 pounds Cadillac Fleetwood and the 1,500-pound Lincoln Continental. But whereas today heavier vehicles attract the bulk of criticism, back then it was lighter ones that drew scrutiny. Indeed, many cars at the time were woefully unsafe. In 1969, America's National Highway Safety Bureau conducted crash tests on a Subaru 360 and a King Midget, 2 sub-1,000-pound mini cars. When pitted against vehicles twice their size, the tiny cars crumbled like soda cans. Over the years, policymakers struggled to solve this mismatch or incompatibility problem. Often, they made things worse. When Congress set fuel efficiency standards in the wake of oil shocks in the 1970s, cars were swiftly downsized. Within 10 years, cars shed 1,000 pounds, truck dropped 500 pounds. Although these changes saved motorists money at the pump, they also led to more traffic fatalities. A paper published in 1989 by researchers at the Brookings Institution and the Harvard School of Public Health estimated that the shift towards smaller, lighter cars by the 1970s and 1980s boosted fatalities 14 to 27%. A report released in 2002 by America's National Research Council concluded that the downsizing of America's fleet led to thousands of unnecessary deaths. As cars got bigger, regulators shifted their focus from the lightest vehicles to the heaviest ones. The impetus for this was the rise of SUVs. Between 1990 and 2005, the market share of such vehicles in America grew from 6% to 26%, pushing up the weight of an average new car from 3,400 pounds to nearly 4,000 pounds, or 4,100 pounds. As the suburban soccer moms traded in their station wagons for Ford Expeditions, many felt safer, and they were right. One of the reasons the roads are much safer is because the vehicles are bigger and they're heavier than they were. Adrian Lunn of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, an industry research organization, told conference goers in 2011. To Competitive Enterprise Institute, a think tank even advocated for supersizing America's fleet to improve safety. In the Wall Street Journal, writing in the Wall Street Journal that larger vehicles are the solution, not the problem. But researchers quickly learned that the extra protection provided by heavier vehicles comes at the expense of others on the road. In a paper published in 2004, Michelle White of the University of California, San Diego, estimated that for every deadly crash avoided by an SUV or pickup truck, there are additional 4.3 among other drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. Another paper in 2012 by Sanjun Lee of Resources for the Future, a think tank, estimated that when a car crashes with an SUV or pickup rather than another car, the driver's fatality rate increased by 31%. In 2014, Michael Anderson and Maximilian Affuheimer of the University of California, Berkeley, estimated that when two cars crash, a 1,000-pound increase in the weight of one vehicle raised their fatality rate in the other by 47%. Damn. Researchers also found that safety benefits of vehicle weight suffer from diminishing returns. This means that once a vehicle reaches a certain weight, packing on more pounds provides little additional safety while inflicting more harm on others. At some point, heavy vehicles cost more lives than they save, wrote Brian O'Neill and Sergei Kirichenko of the IIHS in 2004. This makes intuitive sense, Mr. Anderson of Berkeley. Once you outweigh the other guy by a factor of 2 times, adding 200 pounds more really going to make a difference for you? Probably not, but it'll make sure that the other guy is completely destroyed. So how big is too big? At what point did the cost of the heaviest vehicles, measured in lives lost, vastly exceed their benefits? To answer this question, the Economist compiled 10 years worth of crash data from more than a dozen states. Like the data compiled by Messrs. Anderson and Affuheimer, our figures come from reports filed by police officers who are tasked with recording information about car crashes when called to the scene. Although all states collect such data, we focus on those that collect the most detailed figures and share them with researchers. The resulting data set, which covers more than a third of America's population, provides us with a sample that is both big and representative. In total, our data set includes millions of car crashes across 14 states between 2013 and 2023. Although accident reports vary from state to state, most of the crashes in our database include information about the location of the crash, the number of cars involved, each passenger's age and gender, whether they were wearing seatbelts, and the type of injuries that they suffered. To obtain the curb weight of each vehicle, we collected a vehicle identification number included in each crash report and then matched them to vehicle specs from VIN Audit, an auto data provider. Combining these data yielded roughly 10 million crashes. After dropping observations with missing data, we were left with about 7.5 two vehicle crashes involving more than 15 million cars. What do these data tell us about the relationship between vehicle weight and road safety? Consider the two differently sized cars, a Honda Civic compact car and a Ford F-350 Super Duty pickup truck. In a crash, the fatality rate of the occupants of the heaviest pickup truck is about half of that of the compact car. Damn. Our data shows that heavy vehicles are safer for their occupants than lighter ones. That's wild. Yeah, my driver's ed class, they told new drivers to get a heavier car. It's like, well, you're kind of perpetuating the cycle here where we just infinitely, people need bigger and bigger cars because the average size of the car, the size of the average car on the road grows. So now people need an even bigger car to be bigger than the other cars, and it's kind of a bad spiral. But they're also far more dangerous to the fatality rate of people in other cars. Yeah, than you're just killing. Damn. The fatality rate is roughly 7 times higher when colliding with a heavier pickup truck than with a compact car. As the weight of your car increases, the risk of killing others increases dramatically. For every life that the heaviest 1% SUVs and trucks save, there are more than a dozen lives lost in other vehicles. The heaviest 1% of vehicles in our data set, those weighing around 6,800 pounds, suffer 4.1 own car deaths per 10,000 crashes on average, compared with 6.6 for the cars in the middle of the weight sample, weighing 3,500 pounds, and 15.8 for the lightest 1% of vehicles, weighing just 2,300 pounds. How much did they say the Ford F-350 weighs? Like 6,000. Okay. How much does the Ford F-150 weigh? That's what my dad has. Between 4,000 and 5,000. Okay. So not in the heaviest 1%, but still really heavy. But heavy cars are also far more dangerous to other drivers. The heaviest vehicles in our data are responsible for 37 partner car deaths per 10,000 crashes on average, compared with 5.7 for median weight cars and 2.6 for the lightest cars. To estimate this relationship more precisely and control for potential sources of bias, we conducted a regression analysis of our sample of 7.5 million two-vehicle crashes. We found that getting into a crash with a vehicle that is 1,000 pounds heavier is associated with a 0.06 percentage point increase in the probability of suffering fatality, even after controlling for the curb weight of one's own car, the age of the gender of the driver, the population density of the crash location, and whether the passengers were wearing seatbelts. Given the probability of suffering a fatality in a two-vehicle crash is 0.09% on average, this suggests that getting hit by an additional 1,000 pounds of steel and aluminum, roughly the difference between a Toyota Camry and a Ford Explorer, boosts the likelihood of death by 66%. As for the weight at which the social cost of driving a heavier vehicle exceeds the benefits, the evidence is clear. Vehicles in the top 10% of the samples, those weighing at least 5,000 pounds, are involved in roughly 26 deaths per 10,000 crashes, on average, including 5.9 in their own and 20.2 in partner vehicles. For vehicles in the next heaviest 10% of our sample, those weighing between 4,500 and 5,000 pounds, the equivalent figures are 5.4 and 10.3 per 10,000 crashes. A back-of-the-envelope estimates suggest that if the heaviest 10th of vehicles in America's fleet were downsized to this lighter weight class, road fatalities in multi-car crashes, which totaled 19,000 in 2023, could be reduced by 12% or 2,300 without sacrificing the safety of any cars involved. 5.9 do 5.4. Yeah, so... Given these figures, you might expect car makers to be slamming the brakes in the production of heaviest SUVs and pickup. In fact, they're pressing the accelerator. Official figures from the Environmental Protection Agency show that the average car in America weighs more than 4,400 pounds, compared with 3,300 pounds in the European Union and 2,600 pounds in Japan. In 2023, vehicles weighing more than 5,000 pounds accounted for a whopping 31% of new cars, up from 22% from the years earlier. God damn. It'd be easy to blame car buyers for this trend, but Mr. Anderson says that Americans looking for new cars face a Cold War-style arms race. As you see the vehicle fleet around, yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier, getting heavier, you want to protect yourself rationally from by buying a bigger and heavier car. Such rational individual decisions have led to a suboptimal outcome for society as a whole. When asked to comment on the Economist's findings, representatives from big three car manufacturers pointed to safety features that help drivers avoid crashes rather than those that make them less deadly. Vehicle weight does not solely determine crash performance. Wow, that's not a claim that they ever made. Mike Levin, a Ford spokesperson, wrote an email highlighting car crash avoidance technologies such as automatic emergency braking and front and rear brake assist. General Motors pointed out that car makers have improved compatibility of their vehicles over the years, citing a voluntary deal struck by manufacturers in 2003, more than 20 years ago. Stellantis, whose biggest shareholder owns the Economist's parent company, declined to comment except to say that the company's vehicles meet or exceed all applicable federal safety standards. Regulators are ill-equipped to fix the problem. America's tax subsidies tax system subsidizes heavier vehicles by setting more lenient fuel efficiency standards for light trucks and allowing bosses who purchase heavy-duty vehicles for business purposes to deduct part of their cost from their taxable income. The national highway, yeah, this is a problem I've read about before. We have, because there's more lenient standards for light trucks, companies have started making light trucks. The national highway traffic, we should just tax carbon. Maybe we should just tax negative externalities. Brilliant idea. You guys ever heard of that? The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, America's top auto safety agency, uses a 5-star rating system to score crash performance that only takes into account the safety of the occupants of the vehicle in question, not that of other drivers. Our rating system reflects a bias towards the occupant. Well, it's not biased towards the occupant, it only considers the occupant, but explains Laura Sant of the Highway Safety Research Center at the University of North Carolina. It is not designed to rate the car in terms of its holistic safety effects. NHTSA declined to comment on the economist's findings. There are signs Americans may be wising up. A survey conducted last year by YouGov, a pollster, found that 41% of Americans think that SUVs and pickup trucks have become too big, 49% said that such vehicles are more dangerous for other cars, and 50% that said that they endanger cyclists and pedestrians. This is another big problem. Not Just Bikes made a video about this as well. They're really bad for cyclists and pedestrians. Their line of their blind spot is like way bigger. They can't see people like directly in front of them. They take longer to slow down. It's not good. Researchers are raising the alarm. Oh, and also it's there's a term for it, but you get higher up, you get hit higher up on your body basically. So, you know, with like a small car, if it hits you, it's like the bumper is going to hit your legs, and you can just kind of roll up onto the hood in the windshield, and sometimes you don't actually get hurt that much. But if a truck is coming towards you, your upper body just gets hit by a fucking 50-mile-an-hour brick wall. So, yeah, there's that as well. Since 1989, the IIHS has regularly published the driver fatality rates of popular car models. In 2023, for the first time, the group also estimated a rate at which cars kill other drivers and other vehicles. Policymakers are starting to take notice, too. I'm concerned about the increased risk of severe injury and death for all road users from the heaviest curb weights. Jennifer Homney, chair of the National Transportation Safety Board, said in a speech last year, but the odds that car makers curb their heaviest, most dangerous vehicles are slim. American car buyers value safety, but mainly for themselves, not society as a whole. And although regulators are tasked with protecting consumers, they rarely do so at the expense of choice, no matter how deadly the consequences. There may be a certain point at which you say, you know what, passenger vehicles shouldn't be weighing this much, says Raul Amelidez, I don't know, the IIHS Vehicle Research Center, but it would politically be really hard to gain any momentum on that. Finally, the shift towards electric power is likely to increase the weight of weight further, as battery-powered vehicles tend to be heavier than their internal combustion equivalents. That's true, but like that's also they don't suffer from the same problem that I mentioned earlier. Sometimes where you can get hit much higher up in your body and not be able to like roll into the hood, because a lot of times they're like normal sized, but they just have a lot of weight from the battery pack at the bottom. The battery pack at the bottom also means that they don't roll over. They literally, like when they tested it on Tesla, they could not make it roll over. Because the center of gravity is so low from the battery pack at the bottom. Also, how is there a fly in my room? Manufacturers are playing by the book, says Mark Chung of the National Safety Council, a nonprofit. They're making a business decision, and it's rational, and it's a rational decision. Unless they're forced to think differently, they're not going to do so. So I think this is where our federal partners really got to step up. Crazy. Jared, how are you doing all this at once? Jared, how are you playing Minecraft Subway Surfers News and driving? Good one, dude. Because my mind is powered by caffeine. It's all the caffeine. My brain works 10 times faster than yours. Tanzania to Latvia. Okay, so Russia, Georgia, Turkey. Turkey, Syria, Israel, Egypt. Libya, Algeria. Oh, I don't even need Algeria, it's just Libya. Wow, fire. Wow, easy. Goated. Are you guys playing Fortnite or Dress to Impress? You're not playing nothing. I probably need to do the same thing with the this. I think I want to make a I'm gonna do, you know what Destiny did about when he learned about J6 and then he did like focus groups with people. I'm gonna do that for the for economics. I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna like write down statistics and stuff and then just be like, hey, you know, like I'm gonna invite Admiral Gibb. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to chat. Duh. Admiral Gibbs and Rob Noor. I don't know if Rob Noor would do it. Maybe Rob Noor would do it. And just be like, this is how unemployment's calculated. This is why unemployment is really lower under Biden than it was under Trump. It's not fake. It's not fake. I just explained to you how it's calculated. Do that. Thank you for your service, 07, brother. Well, what's up, White Flowers? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. A lot of stuff in Kamala Harris is just like me reading into the. Oh wow, Pickler 17, thanks for the follow. Wow, is this your first stream, buddy? Is this your first time here? Wow, is this your? Oh, Dolphin 08. Wow. Well, thanks, buddy. Wow, you guys are so sweet. Wow, Oh, Emerald Z64. Oh, I haven't seen you here before. Your clip channel is failing because your descriptions are empty. I don't use the clip channel. I don't want the clip channels to succeed. I need to make a new raid from Destiny. I need to make a new clip channel for like content like this, which is content I don't want to put on the main channel, but it's still like good. The only reason for the clip channel is so I have like a place to like host like these clips that are too big for YouTube Shorts. Like, I don't want this video to actually be promoted into the algorithm. I just want, like, if I need to share the video, I have a YouTube link for it. It's not actually for success, for algorithmic success. That's the rationale there. But I will make I will make like a clip channel that'll be more like stream highlights that aren't actually meant for main channel content, like this style of clips. But it doesn't really make sense to do that until my audience is bigger. So most of the stuff on the non-fun clips channel is old gaming content. Fred 1. True. When the penis car goes too fast in GTA Online. This is the content you guys actually came here for, right?
That just happened. Open up a pack and boom. 99. see what else I can get.
What the fuck is this?
My God. Well, that goes without asking. He's going in my freaking roster. I can't believe that just happened.
I can't believe it, bro. That's insane. Bro, what?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, bro.
It's Jover.
What's that? Do not photo mode glitch through this door. There's nothing behind it. When I drive my body, why do you confuse me for my body? It's my body, not me. Or get it, not me. Get it, not me. What is this?
This time, this place, misused, mistakes. Too long, too late. Who was I to make you wait? Just one
Are these videos with 0 views? Again?
just in case there's just one left.
What is that? 26 views. That's a pretty killer meme. Where's the Kanye one? There's a bunch of Minecraft clips. There are so many Nickelodeon kart racer clips where the same exact thing happens. I get hit by the blue shell on lap 3. It's so fucking annoying. Where is maybe it's a short. How many bits do you have? MM5. What? Is this not just an ad?
Has a motion like this. Girls are just not known for playing a lot of video games. This game was popular with girls. It was a scientific calculation that this set off a certain dopamine specifically in the female mind. What else go like this?
Tinder. What else?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Angry Birds has a motion like this.
Why did I clip this? Oh, wow. Stupid people. It's not what I was expecting. That was really a clip worthy of uploading, Jared. Wow, nice one. That's a definite bad apple. 102 views. So worth it, dude. This took, like, actually, like, a full-ass day to make. But no one can appreciate it except for us. I would never cheat in GTA Online. So I guess I'll make a page on crime, and we'll add. I don't really know why this one is in here. We'll add this. We'll add this. Okay. Oops, I should have. I hate Notion. Okay, there we go. That was from a conversation. And then I guess we should make a. I think this is mostly to do with crime as well, so we'll put this here. A policy page. I don't even know if she's proposed free school lunch. It's just that Tim Waltz in Minnesota made free school lunch. What is this? Oh, is this a survey? Oh, this is a survey on tariffs, I think. So really it should be in the Trump section. I already had it open, but whatever. This was just from the conversation I had with Gorps and North. R.I.P. brother. Can I just drag? Hell yeah, I can. Should have realized that earlier. Don't know why these are even in here. This was just a script. So I'm just gonna put that in there. That's like her versus, that's Biden versus Trump on how much they accomplished. That I already have. Okay, I don't really know. I guess I'll put this in there. Maybe that should be in there too. And this can just be chilling here for now. I'm sure we'll find a place to put it later. Here, let me just. mention, so I know what it is. Harris needs to be Pennsylvania fracking's biggest champion. Okay, what the fuck, Spotify? Biden already boosted fracking. Harris needs to prompt to do more of the same. I heard they started ball fracking in Lebanon today. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Don't get involved. They did. That is one way of explaining what happened. Yeah, I guess I kind of did do that. Yeah. Welcome to the stream. Happy you're here. That was a good one. Kamala Harris is doing well in the national polls and in some swing states, but she's struggling in the all-important state of Pennsylvania. Her weakness is the Keystone State is why Nate Silver's election forecast. How many? This is also a fucking 15 views, dude. What the fuck? Oh, a few screenshots. I think my Halo screenshots are better, honestly. Even though my Steam profile, look at those, you know. Fire. Nate Silver's election forecast for predict that Pennsylvania would be a pivotal state in November. Continue to predict a Trump victory. There are a number of reasons for this. Harris isn't a Pennsylvania native like Biden. She passed on the state's popular governor, Josh Shapiro, when making her VP pick. But every article I read cites this fracking issue as the number one reason why Pennsylvania voters worry about Harris. Here's MSNBC. Okay, so what to say. Pennsylvania is a very important swing state. Harris to win. She's struggling. And Pilsner. Mostly because of her positions on fracking. In 2019, Harris was supportive of a federal ban of fracking, but in a CNN interview last week, she pledged not to ban the practice of the president, saying that her perspective was shaped by clean energy gains that were made in the Biden administration without the passage of such a ban. I made it clear that in our state, this is both a jobs issue and an energy issue, Senator Bob Casey, Pennsylvania, in an interview. There's no question it's a significant issue in the state, and I was heartened when, right after her campaign was launched, her campaign made it clear she was not going to have a policy banning fracking. That's a consensus position. Harris has repudiated her 2019 position and promised not to ban fracking. She repeated this promise recently at the recent presidential debate. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened up new leases for fracking, Harris said Tuesday at the debate. This is a very good step, but Harris needs to go much further. Instead of simply promising not to ban fracking, she should promise to expand it, and she should be loud and unambiguous about trumpeting that Biden has already accomplished this Biden has already accomplished in this regard. The fate of the election could hinge on this, but it also happens to be a good policy. Harris should be louder about her support for fracking. Promise not only to ban it, but to expand it. As Biden has already done. Guys, seen that BoJack Horseman episode where they do fracking, and then there's a sinkhole under their house because they did fracking in their backyard? Yeah, did you guys want a media share the Borderlands full movie? Is this actually the... No shot. It's been up for 6 days? It's not been reviewed because they're making more money from views here than the DVDs and cinema projections. All these comments are from like 4 hours ago though, so maybe it was probably uploaded 6 days ago, then privated, and only recently unprivated.
Left him broken and dead.
Thanks for the 10-bit sack. Okay. How many views did that one have? There, it's the video shows aligned now in theory. Further, I should point out why fracking is essential to Pennsylvania's economy. The Marcellus Shale, the country's biggest source of natural gas, is located almost entirely in Pennsylvania and West Virginia. Unusually, both politicians and pundits think about the economic importance of something like the Marcellus Shale in terms of how many jobs it directly supports. No one knows exactly what the number is for the state of Pennsylvania, but industry estimates are around 120,000. Okay, America is now the world's biggest oil exporter. I'm aware. Yeah, that is true. It's the country's biggest source of natural gas. Where does this link to? And supports around 123k jobs in Pennsylvania. Oops. A lot of people, especially climate activist types, would dispute that figure and claim that is an overestimate, but in fact it's probably an underestimate because of the economic effects that the fracking industry itself doesn't understand. I'm talking about local multipliers. Almost none of the gas that gets produced from the Marcellus Shale gets consumed locally. It gets sold to other towns, other states, and other countries. From the perspective of the towns in the Marcellus region, it's export revenue. Exports create a local multiplier. Every dollar that comes from outside gets circulated locally. It gets spent on construction and heating and lighting, on doctors, dentists, and prep services, on haircuts and pizza and everything else. That makes a local economy tick. Estimates of this effect for shale gas and similar industries range from 1.3 to 2, meaning that for every job shale gas creates, there are 1.13 to 2 other jobs created locally. These jobs almost certainly aren't included in the industry association's estimates. If you said that jobs in pizza restaurants and hair saloons were supported by fracking, the climate activists would laugh at you, and yet it's true. Without fracking, whole towns would have no real economic reason for existence. And once you add in the dependence of all those workers, the number of Pennsylvanians whose economic livelihood depends on fracking is probably in the hundreds of thousands. That's a constituency Harris can't afford to lose. This number is actually an underestimate. Sister energy from fracking provides export revenue, which is circulated locally. Supporting local jobs. A fracking ban was always a bad idea. 2019 was the high watermark of the socialist movement that was unleashed by Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign. The socialists put climate front and center, putting forward unworkably expensive and over ambitious Green New Deal, only to see it flop. Undaunted, they proposed other policies, including a ban on fracking. This was more successful, with states like New York and Vermont banning into practice, and national polls showing lukewarm support, but it was obviously a lot less popular in states like Pennsylvania. The idea of a fracking ban isn't just bad politics, it's bad policy. Yes, fracking has problems, methane leaks and toxic runoff, plus the fact that natural gas itself is a fossil fuel, but these are manageable problems. A whole bunch of technological solutions have been found to minimize water pollution from fracking, as well as reducing methane leaks. Meanwhile, natural gas doesn't stop the rise of renewables at all, as some environmental activists fears, and it creates a lot less carbon than the coal it replaced. This, thanks largely to fracking, the amount of carbon the average American emits has gone down by a quarter since 2006. Fracking does have negative effects. The new technology mitigates things like methane leaks and toxic runoff, or minimize water pollution. Fracking also emits much less carbon than the coal it replaced. But in addition to the environmental and economic benefits of fracking, there are big geopolitical reasons to support it. The Ukraine war cut off much of Europe from Russian gas, but America stepped in to save the day with LNG exports. This boosted America's economic growth, saving our European allies from economic collapse, and fracking makes this possible. Back in the US, also benefited us and our allies. After the Ukraine war, or as I say, cut off much of the liquid natural gas supply from Russia. It's also worth noting that although the Mercatus Shale itself doesn't produce a lot of oil compared to other locations, oil fracking is what made the U.S. the new global powerhouse of the oil industry. U.S. fracking has kept oil prices in check, giving the U.S. economy a boost, reducing Russia's ability to fund its war in Ukraine, and weakening a variety of other petrostates like Iran. Yeah, good one, fucking Josh. Joe Biden ended up doing exactly the right thing by encouraging fracking rather than trying to strangle it, but as with so many other policies, he did it quietly and failed to get much credit as he deserved. Kamala Harris should change that. I haven't read this one yet. Biden championed fracking quietly. Harris should do it loudly. I made him giggle on stream, confirmed. Yeah, what an accomplishment. Biden has been the old-time champion of domestic oil production and of fracking. This wasn't an accident. This was a deliberate policy. After Biden took office, his administration kept issuing oil and gas permits and did so at a slightly faster pace than his predecessor, Donald Trump. The Inflation Reduction Act yokes oil and gas lease auctions to wind and solar projects on federal land and blesses such leases in the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska's Cook Inlet. More consequently, in the past year, the Biden administration dramatically increased liquid natural gas exports to Europe. As reported by The Guardian, Biden paved the way for new pipelines and export facilities, established a new task force to boost gas exports to Europe, and approved $300 million in funding to help build out gas infrastructure on the continent. So this is going to link to the... Yeah. Biden quietly expanded domestic oil production. Okay, good fucking hyperlink. Which was the same thing 2 times. Did so at a slightly faster rate than his predecessor, Donald Trump. Inflation Reduction Act. Oil and gas auctions to wind and solar projects on federal land. Yokes, isn't that? Attack especially by strangling. Cause to join in close relationship. Oh, yeah, I'll include that. Well, here, I'll do this. Biden administration dramatically increased liquid natural gas export to Europe, as reported by The Guardian. Paved the way for new pipelines, export facilities, established a new task force for Europe, and approved $300 million in funding. You don't hear Biden troubling his policies or his accomplishments much, and I think there are reasons for that. First, Biden's generally been a modest president who does good things without taking sufficient credit. He's linked to his own, sufficient credit for doing some. Second, Biden is probably aware of alienating Democrats' progressive activist base, which really dislikes the fossil fuel industry. Matthew, I don't know, Galius or whatever, has argued that this is a mistake and that climate is much less of an important issue than Democrats think. But whether he's right, I think that Harris really doesn't have to worry about progressive voters by championing fracking in Pennsylvania. As I see it, there are basically 2 groups of progressive voters. The first is a small group of extremists who would indeed be willing to abandon Harris over support for fracking if they hadn't already abandoned her and the Democratic Party in general over Palestine, or over the fact that she said she wanted a lethal military at the convention, or over the fact that Dick Cheney endorsed her, etc. These voters are a lost cause and, fortunately, are electorally insignificant. The second, much larger group of progressives is pragmatic and reasonable enough to realize that even with maximal support for fracking, Harris would be much better for the climate than Donald Trump would be. Trump would likely abandon her likely abandon or try to sabotage the Inflation Reduction Act, the most consequential piece of climate legislation in American history. Harris would not. In fact, she would extend and strengthen the promotion of green energy, and all of the above energy policy simply far better for the climate than Trump's policy of sabotaging energy resources that don't fall on his side of the culture war. My prediction is a number of progressives who are unreasonable enough not to realize that Donald Trump is far worse than climate, but reasonable enough to have already abandoned the Democrats, is vanishingly small. I predict that this tiny slice of voters are far outweighed in importance by the Pennsylvania normies who just want to preserve their jobs and their towns. Meanwhile, overall American support for fracking has risen as Americans have refocused on pocketbook issues in the wake of the pandemic. Thus, I believe Harris should not just promise to not ban fracking, but also should go around western Pennsylvania talking about how she plans to expand fracking, while also making it clear she plans to expand green energy and green manufacturing at the same time. She should be specific about projects and that she'll encourage and do licenses she'll grant. That promise will make it abundantly clear that Harris's candidacy poses no threat whatsoever to Pennsylvania's way of life and neutralize Trump's main vector of attack. It's good policy and it's good politics. Family believers use 50 days. Story B. Harris's cynical reversal of fracking. It's kind of true, but well, I mean, that's already the story though, so I don't know how much worse it would get. Oh, there's a new one because it's past 12 a.m. East Timor to Uzbekistan. Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. It's probably Thailand, then it's probably China is going to be fastest, right? China, then Russia. Oh, come on. Oh, fuck. I don't know. Oh, wait. Well, I need Laos first. Does Afghanistan border both? Thank God. Okay, thank God. Tajikistan also would have worked through Kyrgyzstan, but like I don't know where the different stans, which ones are the different ones. I don't know Kazakhstan from Kyrgyzstan, from Tajikistan from Turkmenistan. Thank God Afghanistan border both. I could have done Pakistan as well. Point is perfect score as always. Okay, we'll probably read this as well. It's a little bit longer. Only one president has taken actual concrete steps to address U.S. industrial weakness vis-a-vis China. For the first time in its entire history, the U.S. is facing a rival that can out-manufacture it. This is a very big deal. George W. Bush and Barack Obama never seemed to recognize how big a deal this was, and so we lost valuable decades in which we could have addressed the problem. Donald Trump did recognize it, or at least he seemed to dimly understand that manufacturing strength was important for national competitiveness, and that China was a threat, but Trump didn't actually do much about it. His export controls from Chinese companies were modest and partially reversed under pressure. Its tariffs did nothing to bring back U.S. manufacturing, and occasionally haphazard attempts to encourage the FDI came to naught. Trump brought needed attitude shifts, but was utterly ineffectual in actual real policy terms. Then Joe Biden came in office, and with help from appointees like Jake Sullivan and Gina Raimondo, actually made a serious attempt to do something about America's industrial weakness vis-a-vis China. His approach had four basic pillars. although Trump was strong on anti-China rhetoric, how do you spell rhetoric? His actual policies did little to bring any American manufacturing back. However, Biden's did. We'll do this. Is this linked to like the fact sheets or? Oh no. Oh. Industrial policy to CHIPS Act and Inflation Reduction Act to encourage American manufacturers and strategic industries, export controls on semiconductor and semiconductor manufacturing equipment to being sold to China, friendshoring and reshoring supply chains, especially of critical minerals, tariffs on various Chinese products. Friendshoring, moving supply chains to China into friendly countries. It's too early to tell whether tariffs have had an effect, since these were very late in addition to the playbook. Friendshoring has made some progress, although it would take a decade and a half to really see results. Domestic mining is currently being stymied by land use regulations. In the areas of industrial policy and export control zones, I've seen some pretty rapid signs of important progress. Frustrating, this progress has been mostly ignored by the national political conversation, even though it's one of the most important things that the American government is doing. A lot of the subject is probably too wonky and technical for most people, and foreign policy tend to get less airtime than domestic policy. Even knowing all this, however, I'm a bit frustrated at how few people are talking about how the Biden administration finally did something that about Americans' industrial weakness after so many years of inaction. So anyway, here's a quick rundown of the results that Biden policies are getting so far. What? Too early to tell. Some of the policies are working. We have made progress in friendshoring. And other indicators show signs of progress. Industrial policy is succeeding in building factories. The idea behind Biden's industrial policy is that there are external threats, Chinese military aggression, and climate change that the market will not address on its own. Therefore, governments must intervene in order to secure American supplies of technology that are critical for fighting these threats. Semiconductors are a crucial component into every form of military technology, and high-end semiconductors will be crucial for the autonomous weapons that are expected to take over the battlefield in the coming years. Green energy, especially solar power and batteries, are crucial to fighting against climate change, but batteries are also a power source for FPV drones, which are becoming the indispensable weapon in modern battlefield. Energy is also an important input into every technology, so having those energy supplies dependent on Chinese products is a bad idea. Thus, Biden's two signature industrial policy bills, the CHIPS and Science Act and the Inflation Reduction Act, address semiconductors, batteries, and solar power. Semiconductors are important for Quantum military technology. And energy. Thanks for the follow, big fat ball hairs. Good one, dude. Welcome to the stream. Energy is input for everything. So it's not wise to rely on Chinese energy. Or semiconductors. Semiconductors is just one word. Okay. I ain't gonna spell it right, but. So far, both bills have achieved important results. For the first time in decades, America is now building factories at a rapid rate. Now, it's important to realize that building factories is different than producing actual stuff. Factories, once built, could sit idle if there's no demand for products, or if they can't find sufficient workers. So it's no guarantee that Biden's industrial policy would succeed at cracking out actual chips and batteries. It's just too early to tell, but the factories are getting built. And that's about all we can hope for at this point. Let's look at some numbers. Firstly, factory construction spending in the U.S. in terms of actual dollars. This is actual brain rot. There's only a little bit of brain rot to keep people like you entertained when we read a little bit of econ stuff. Spending on building factories. It's increasing. This is actually insane. What's so insane? Previous quarters are driven by inflation, so let's divide it number by the pricing day. Okay, so I would say this effect remains even after adjusting for inflation. But its chart is only since 2008 because unfortunately the price data only goes back that far. But you can see that even after accounting for the increased price of manufacturing construction, it was still spending more than twice as much as it did on factory construction compared to the Trump or Obama presidencies. Bro, to whatever podcast is live, go join the OF model. Do they invite male OF models on there ever? I've been open about this from day one, people. If my choices were between regular job or streaming with OnlyFans on the side, I would choose the latter. I would do the streaming with OnlyFans on the side. I've always been open about that. I just don't think there's much demand for my OnlyFans, unfortunately.
And the Dutch people.
Bro, pirating the Borderlands movie exposed. My friend sent me that, yeah. It's just up on YouTube for some reason. This is, I think, the full movie. It says it's been up for 6 days, but it only has 500,000 views, and all the comments are like from a few hours ago, so I think they was probably private until a few hours ago. It's getting views really quickly too, so I would imagine. You know, don't show it. I showed like 2 frames of it. I'll be fine. Can't have you get taken down.
Aren't going to exist anymore. It's going to be an.
It's going to happen eventually anyway. But then again.
Yeah, how interesting. How are they still doing this? How are 6,000 people still watching this? Haven't they been doing this exact same format for fucking 3 years or something? Jesus. How many times can you just have Andrew Wilson shit on slightly different OF girls? Oh, the abortion debates though, they're good. They only did 2 of those though. This one is really funny.
the womb.
How?
You
Why
don't
would
know,
that
'cause
prohibit me
you
from?
don't know when consciousness exists, when it actually comes.
You won't
don't
even
know when
say
the,
when it
when the baby
exists.
has
I've given you the range of when different people develop at different rates. It's about 20 to 24 weeks.
So you want to create, so you believe that we should have a sliding scale of what it means to be a human person.
We already have that sliding scale. We do it at death. That's why when we go back to the, I'm going to ask again. No, I'm not answering the question until you
Do you
answer
think
this
it's
question.
okay to kill someone when they're unconscious?
I'm gonna no, because I said capacity to deploy
That's
consciousness.
so funny.
As in all of the parts in your brain are functioning and working and can deploy a conscious
So
experience.
an embryo who is developing their brain will absolutely have the capacity to
Will implies
but
doesn't
why
yet.
are you being age?
Okay. Someone made a viability argument on a Jubilee video hurts the soul. Yeah, I know. I can't believe they didn't let the TikTok debaters speak more in that video. That's a huge change. Now look at what types of factories are being built. It's practically all in a computer electronic plus electrical category, which includes both semiconductors and batteries, the two main things Biden subsidized. And there's a smaller bump in transportation equipment category, which mainly means cars, which the IRA also subsidizes. This relates to smoking gun. Biden's industrial policies have created a massive boom of private manufacturing investment in the most strategic industries. In fact, the amount of private investment utterly swamps the amount of actual government spending in spending commitments. Here's a helpful chart. Spending has been concentrated in the areas Biden subsidized. Semiconductors and batteries. Private manufacturing investment has also increased. Much more than government spending has. Gotta be a more efficient way to do that. That was all I chose for you to think in America is spending a lot more on chip manufacturing in China. The green bar openly represents Chinese government spending, which is more than 3x the CHIPS Act. Chinese are private companies are pouring in a lot more. What a chart does is show that private investment in chip manufacturing in America absolutely dwarfs government spending. Just for $52 billion, just for $52 billion subsidy, over none of which have been spent yet. We got $804 billion in private investment. Okay, so this only includes to the government spending. Other companies in China still spend more than us. The revival of American manufacturers being prompted by the government but not bankrolled by the government. A small injection of subsidies is really all it took. So far, these factories haven't come online. They take a number of years to build. We don't really know if they'll actually be able to find demand for the products or the workers, but the industry leaders and consultants are predicting an increase in market share for the U.S. in the crucial fields of leading-edge chips, as well as more modest market share gains in other areas, even taking China's own massive investments into account. Gains in global share is projected. Okay. Factories aren't online yet. Projections look good. That's an excellent. That's an excellent Bloomberg report by Mackenzie Hawkins on the state of the CHIPS Act, which includes a lot of details about the challenges that still lie ahead. Importantly, the CHIPS Act, which was passed with Republican assistance in the first place, may be gaining durable bipartisan approval. Some GOP lawmakers are embracing the policy. Some conservative intellectuals are thinking about how to put their own spin on a policy if they come into power. Now let's look at the IRA and clean energy. U.S. investments in the air is already rising because solar and batteries just got so darn cheap. But the IRA seems to have supercharged things. IRA also supercharged investment in solar and batteries. Oh, well, 2024 isn't over yet. I was confused why is it so low. Not that year 2024 shorter because it only includes the first 2 quarters. Yeah, crazy. Observe the growth in the red and orange bar. It says very rapid growth. Also, the relative chart doesn't just show factory construction like the earlier ones I posted. This investment is in clean energy as a whole, which includes battery factories and batteries and solar panels and solar factories, etc. So that's a lot. Here's a breakdown. These numbers come from a report on Clean Energy Monitor titled Tailoring 2-Year Impact of the IRA. Again, highly recommend. The report notes while America is spending a lot more in factories, we're not spending that much more in solar factories. Part of this is because batteries are much more strategic energy than solar. Batteries go into weapons, while solar doesn't. So it's probably okay if we buy our solar panels from China, which is one reason we shouldn't have tariffs on a product. With the CHIPS Act, we see that a relatively small input of government money is prompted a much larger. Most of the spending is on batteries, which is good. Because batteries go into weapons, while solar panels don't. Similar to a CHIPS Act, small amount of government subsidies, or I guess government investment, prompted much larger private investment. Funding and enduring public support for the IRA investments will be harder than the CHIPS Act because Republicans tend not to care about clean energy. Recall that unlike the IRA, unlike the CHIPS Act, was passed without bipartisan support. But one of the big reasons for hope is that the IRA is focusing investment in red states. The investments are also flowing to red states. Even more importantly, the IRA, even more the CHIPS Act, is creating jobs. Clean energy employment in the U.S. is growing at about 4% per year, faster than overall employment. The boom is concentrated in the car and car parts industries. It's also creating jobs at 2.4% per year, faster than overall employment. I haven't seen this chart before. Interesting. Most of the other stuff I know already, but damn. A lot of investment plus a lot of jobs for red states will hopefully lead the GOP to want to preserve the policy. Already, we're seeing a few Republicans start to stick up for it. Biden's industrial policy has come under criticism from several sectors, from free marketeers who don't like industrial policy for ideological reasons, from political opponents, and from China boosters who don't want to see America compete with China. A lot of these critics look fairly silly because it's obvious that they're jumping the gun. For example, in March, Matt Cole and Chris Nicholson confidently declared that DEI killed the CHIPS Act, citing a reported delay in TSMC's fab construction projects in Arizona. By the time the op-ed came out, TSMC's dispute with Arizona construction was already resolved. Then shortly after the op-ed came out, the CHIPS Act subsidy awards were announced. Then suddenly TSMC announced that their Arizona project was back on schedule. The critics were obviously waiting to pounce on a policy they didn't like, and that poor timing revealed their lack of circumspection. Also, another thing, man, I haven't done more research into this. I should look into it. But a dispute I had with North and Gorps on the panel when I mentioned the CHIPS Act, they're like, why don't the companies compete for contracts? I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure they allocated money for subsidies, and then the companies had to compete for those subsidies. I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain that's what happened, but I don't know for sure. Let me ask Perplexity. Did companies have to compete for CHIPS Act subsidy rewards? Companies had to compete for CHIPS Act subsidy rewards. The implementation of CHIPS Act involved a competitive yeah, okay, yeah. Crazy. CHIPS Act not subsidy program not address any giving companies competitive challenges. Truth is that the U.S. is new to industrial policy and it will take time to get the kinks worked out. The idea is to see what works and learn from mistakes. That will require sustained effort and lots of course correction along the way. Fortunately, the government has been closely monitoring the companies it subsidizes, making sure the projects are on track before writing them their first checks, and making sure they're beating all the milestones before sending follow-up checks. Okay, so I will say companies had to compete for these subsidies, and governments been closely monitoring companies subsidize, making sure they're on track before writing their first checks, and making sure they're meeting milestones before writing follow-up checks. White House plans plans to begin dispersing CHIPS and Science Act grant funds by the end of the year. After finalizing discussions with chipmaker recipients, the talks include seeking reassurance that Intel's core projects are moving forward, despite the company's recent announcement that it's lasting 50% of its workforce. Payment tranches are based on construction and production milestones. The rigorous multi-stage application process is meant to ensure projects meet federal requirements and that taxpayer dollars are used wisely. Free marketeers may win to this sort of close cooperation between the government and private sector, but plenty of history shows that it's how a lot of big manufacturing efforts are done. Another big criticism of the Biden industrial policy is that it will be stymied by America's insane land use regulations. This is admittedly a big danger, but again, critics are obviously jumping the gun in their eagerness to declare industrial policy a failure. For example, here's the Financial Times, a British newspaper. Some 40% of the biggest U.S. manufacturing investments announced that the first year Biden's flagship and industrial climate policies have been delayed or paused, according to the Financial Times investigation. Other projects worth more than $100 billion, a total of $84 billion have been delayed between 2 months and several years, or paused indefinitely after found. The delays raise questions about Biden's bet that industrial transformation could deliver jobs and economics for the U.S., but the FT simply set expectations too high. As economist Nam Jones explains, delays are incredibly common to this type of manufacturing effort. The fact that a majority of projects are still on track and only a few have been paused or canceled is actually an extremely good record. Most of these projects have been on time. And Jack, economist who actually built the dashboard to track IRA CHIPS Act project, notes that almost all projects are expected to be completed at a reasonable time frame. He's a chart for 20 largest IRA related projects. That's tracked here. So far, it's pretty incredible record of success. I say so far because once again, it's not until the products are rolling off the lines in large numbers. It's not over. Okay, but things look very much good, on track, and probably better than anyone would dare to hope at the start of the effort. Industrial policy hasn't succeeded, but it looks like it's succeeded so far. Export controls are hurting China's chip industries. Aren't any charts. No pictures from my economics. At least there's Subway Surfers. Right now it's Minecraft Hardcore. MHA it alternates every 5 minutes. Another big piece of Biden's plan to establish a U.S. industrial edge over China is export controls on chips and chip-making equipment. Unlike industrial policy, this isn't the kind of thing that will create American jobs, although it may preserve a few. It's a destructive policy aimed at keeping China a step behind and its allies when it comes to the all-important autonomous weapons rates, and hopefully in the area of precision weaponry in general. In Iran and back in July, I noticed some of the signs that export controls appear to be having a major effect, despite the loud boasts of China boosters that the controls would only accelerate China's indigenous industrial development. When Huawei came out with his 7-nanometer chip in late 2023, many held this a sign that export controls had failed. Recall that U.S. exports were designed to make it so a lot harder for China to make anything smaller than a 14-nanometer. This is followed by closely by Huawei, right? I think that's how I pronounce it, announcing that it was testing a way to make 5-nanometer chips very close to the best that Intel can make using older equipment that was not covered by the initial round of export controls. To China boosters, it leads to collapse and failure of the U.S. export controls seem to be complete, but in fact, export controls have quietly been having a significant effect. Huawei's Ascend 910B chip, an AI training chip, the company claimed was a rival to NVIDIA's 7-nanometer process, and according to reports, fully 80% of the Ascend 910Bs are defective, and Chinese foundry SMIC is having trouble making them in large volumes. Recall that the Kerwin 9000 is Huawei's famous sanction-busting phone processor chip that is also made in a 7-nanometer process by SMIC. This raises the question of whether the chips will face similar production problems. So we'll say... Uses 7 minute process. Fully 80%. What are these two different? Another effective factories are also having trouble. Producing large volumes of them. Secondly, how export controls were supposed to work. They were not supposed to immediately shut off China's ability to make advanced semiconductors. Instead, they were supposed to erode a country's competitiveness, slow it down, and keep it a step behind. So far, looks like export controls are achieving that goal. Meanwhile, Huawei appears to be pessimistic about chances of making even small batches of better chips. Policy still faces critics. For example, Mary, who wrote an article in April, Huawei sanctions beating strategy, noticing the company's resurgent profits and apparent making success. The Wall Street Journal concurred, issuing a report in July entitled "The U.S. wanted to knock down Huawei. It's only getting stronger." What are these cries of triumph? Ignore the corrosive effects that export controls are having on Huawei. As Keith Cratch and Jonathan Pilson report, Huawei's resurgence has mainly come from within China, which may come at the long-term cost of orphaning China's electronic product and for the rest of the world, a problem that was known as the Galapagos syndrome when it happened to Japan. Cratch and Pilson also note that Huawei's resurgent numbers are probably the result of heavy, if often secret, government subsidies. Furthermore, as noted above, yields on Hawaii's chips appear to be very, very low, meaning that continuous subsidies will need to keep the production lines rolling. Okay, so. Huawei has seen a surge in profits. But this comes from mostly within China. Making it a long term orphaning China's electronics product standards for the rest of the world. It's also likely it's receiving government subsidies. I'm going to call the Huawei is to fall far from new target export controls. A very large number of Chinese semiconductors have been failing over the last few years. Most recently, however the fuck you pronounce that. Am I late? I mean, kinda. I started streaming 3 hours ago. By the way, as mentioned before, it's going to be a short stream today because I gotta fucking get up tomorrow. But I'll stream for a while tomorrow because of the PAL party. Gotta be there for the PAL party. I was at a birthday party based. These are not happy headlines. It's sad for Chinese entrepreneurs to see their business fail, and sad for Chinese people to throw out of jobs, and thus, and this is not going to be a yield direct benefit to the U.S. businesses either. In fact, it will inevitably be cost. These include Chinese retaliations to the country's recent export ban on gallium and germanium, which are used in the production of chips and solar panels. Western companies like ASML, Lam Research, and NVIDIA will also inevitably suffer a bit from reduced sales to China's. Export controls are really more of a military policy than an economic one, and like in war, there will be casualties on both sides. For a wholesale special need guy, he's toting 34. China, for its part, probably should have thought about this before launching an all-out multi-decker. Got him a Chipotle hat base of government-supported economic espionage in order to destroy all non-Chinese high-tech manufacturing industries and replace them with just China's own in order to facilitate geographic political dominance Asia. Just saying. Anyway, the success of the export control regime so far don't mean that a job is done. Far from it. The Biden administration is constantly looking for new ways to tighten up the controls, even as China searches frantically for cracks and loopholes. One new move may be to restrict Western companies from being able to repair and maintain chip-making machines that they already sold to China before the export controls went into effect. Netherlands plans to limit ability to maintain semiconductor equipment in China. Potentially painful blow to Beijing's efforts to develop world-class chip industry. The government of Prime Minister Dick Schiff will likely not renew certain ASML licenses to servers and provide spare parts to China when they expire at the end of the year. The decision is expected to cover the company's top of the line deep ultraviolet lithography or DUV machines. The Dutch companies chip making equipment, the most advanced in the industry, is sold with maintenance agreements that are essential to keep them running. Withdrawals such report could render at least some of them inoperable as soon as next year. Without ASML's DUV gear, it will be increasingly difficult for Chinese technological champion Huawei and its partner Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corp to make breakthroughs in their current capability. Like industrial policy, export controls are a technique that gets constantly refined over time as the people implementing it learn how to do it more efficiently. And as with industrial policy, export controls seem to be having an effect even as U.S. lenders prepare to refine its strategy. Biden's policies haven't yet restored American manufacturing or beaten China's attempts to take the lead in semiconductors, but they are on track to accomplish goals. If 2 years ago we had predicted what success for these policies would look like as of 2024, this is what we would have predicted. These policies deserve a lot more attention and a lot more credit than they have so far been given. Space, crazy, space. I need to start writing articles. Where are you gonna put? You can make your own Substack. I make own Substack. There's nothing on it, but I have it. It's there. You can go to nonfun.blog. Coming soon. I subscribe to have this domain for like a year, and it's probably, the payment's probably coming up soon. It's probably gonna fucking fail because I don't have enough money in my bank account. Twitter Premium has articles, might buy it, yeah. Well, no, Twitter Premium doesn't have articles. Twitter fucking Premium Plus has articles. God, I spend $8 a month on Twitter Premium so I can stream there, and I have my blue check mark. It's not worth it. And now I'm paying fucking $50 a month for a restream, bro. Democrats say what's been true for decades about Republican governments. Governor wants Republicans to tell you the government doesn't work. Then they get elected and prove it. That's their shield game. When I started moving, it's not just schizo post. I like what we are seeing now. Way worse. Revolution sounds better. I think, kind of does sound better, I think. But people don't know what devolution means. Also, you can't even do devolution in the United States because we have a constitution that grants powers to the states, which is different than devolution. So, gotta put it in a public lexicon. Our constitution grants powers to the federal government, not to the states. Well, reserve powers, I mean, yeah. That's different than devolution. Devolution is like what happens in the UK, where you devolve authority to like Scotland, but that's not in a constitution. The federal government can just take it back. Do you ever watch 10 Minutes or no? The central government in the UK at any point can undevolve the authority from Scotland. That can't happen in the US because our constitution reserves powers to the states. That's the difference between devolution and federalism, right? That's what I was taught anyway. Okay, well, I gotta get up early tomorrow. So, I will stream tomorrow at about 2 p.m. hopefully, and we'll go for a while tomorrow. I need to fucking read a lot of shit. I think I'm, like I said, probably gonna talk. Why is this on my desktop? Probably gonna talk to like Admiral Gibbs and maybe Rob Noor. I don't know if I'm big enough to get Rob Noor. Rob Noor at some point about some economic shit because I think they were being dumb on their panel. Devolution is just a transfer of delegation of power to a lower level, especially the central government. Yeah, but that's different than federalism. The U.S. is federal, not just devolved. Should I raid Pisco? I don't think I can raid Pisco. I think he has me fucking banned, so I probably can't raid him. I don't know, let's send you over to Grumble. Okay, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys watching. I love streaming. Love you guys watch me stream. I will see you tomorrow at about 2 p.m. EST. Raid someone through. I didn't beat you. Twitch told me the raid failed, okay? Twitch told me the raid failed. So I tried to raid it again. And it wasn't my fault. See you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone.